Decolonization. Okay, once, man. Yeah, man. This movie is about decolonization. A teacher was teaching decolonization in South Africa at a school university, and he was attacked because he was speaking on the only jobs black people get is to clean houses and clean toilets and clean the streets. And he was like, yo, this is systematic, so we have to change it because really apartheid brought this. This happened because of apartheid in South Africa, in Suriname, and segregation is apartheid in America, North America. Because to me, America is Haiti. If Columbus discovered America, he went to Haiti, Española, just saying. All these other things is all stolen by the Caucasian and whomever think it could benefit them. So I'm gonna leave it at that. And let's start with this one immediately, man. Let's see it. Uh, yeah, this doctor, man, he was teaching, and yeah, he was attacked because they said what he's saying. If he's saying that black people is not getting jobs they should be getting, and saying black people are suffering, he might cause people to get angry at Caucasian and other people. But it's the truth. But anyways, let's leave it at that. Fair use video review. I won't speak too much on it in between, at least, and use it more as a educational purpose. Video review, Dutch translation. For those in Suriname, Belgium, South Africa, and the Netherlands, most of them don't know, and many of the things that are written in the books because they were forbidden to read. They were forbidden to read, and yeah, let me show you this also, man. This what you see here, this is like one of the god of my people. My people are called Enduka. You see, the god of the Enduka. And when they say the god is Lord God, you see, the god from the god of the Enduka was Agediosu or Agidio Onsu. Agede Onsu. Sometimes Agidi Onsu. Because you see all this difference style is just because it's dialect. So this village will say this, the other village will say it this way, like tomato and tomato. That's why you see Agedyo. So it's just variation of the same name. Gidiowi, ganun. And other name and here the yeah. So and Agedyosu tata Agedyosu they will say in my culture because that's what I'm missing here. They missing the tata. Tata Agedyosu is a fertility god. So, and like you see, that's why I was saying Fodu is not a religion. Fodu is a rank. It's a rank of the Lord God. It's Papagadu. And or Jakasa is one of the name of Lord God. That's why you see in my movies I have the name Diyukasa, Jiakasa. That's why I'm saying all these things that they saying about Juju in my culture is real. The 12th tribe is real in my culture. This is all the god of the 12th tribe of my culture, of my tribe I am showing you. It's not like fiction. Let's leave it at that. And my people don't know no Caucasian before crazy Negroes out there will come and, yeah, I don't know. I know my real culture. Just saying. So that's why I was saying, and Tatafodu, Jibril, and those names, Mikael, Makele, is a rank. You see? Zij worden, de slangengoden waren de soldaten die Agejosus leger vormden. The snake gods are the one who used to form the army of Tata Agejosu. Just like the python of Moses. That's why I'm showing you this. In other videos, I already told you who's been listening that Tatafodu is the name of Moses' god. The python people had to look at if they got ill or whatever. But you see that the Tatafodu belongs to Tata Agijosu. Just saying. That's why I'm saying it's rank, rank, rank. It's all rank. And Diakasa, that's why I write Diukasa and Diuka. That's why you see and Diukasa. Yeah, Jukasa from the House of Ju. Ju mean, let's leave it. I won't explain what Ju means, man. Because these crazies out there. But all the stories you hear about them, my tribe, I'm Maroon, so I was never on a plantation. Let's get that clear. Not every Maroon comes from the plantation. I know my God and my history from before any slavery stuff. There were many Africans who were fighting against the Britain and the Dutch people along the coast of West Africa and America. If you don't know that, that's up to you. But I don't expect enemies of my people to write beautiful stories about my people. And that's it's really strange. Then the people who used to fight against my people are now writing books about my people. This book is just like the Bible. This came about just like your Bible came about. The Caucasian came to my people, they stayed there for 20 years, and they wrote this book about the culture and gods of my people, just like your Bible. That's why when I see the Bible, I recognize it like, these stories in the Bible are my people's story, man. This book, on Zwarte Vrije Staat in Suriname, is this one called, because my people were not in slavery. We had our own country in Suriname is not my country. My country is Jukaland, and Juka Sipaliwini. My territory is of Native Americans and black people, Africans. You see, this is all in the book on Zwart Vrije Staat about my people. Chapter 7, the mediator gods, and all these things from war to peace, peace with the Okanisi. I am Okanisi. And feeding means free time in those day, in those day when everybody was free. Because my people were always free. That's why you see me writing Kang Kang Freeman. It means King Kang Freeman have been always free. And you see it here, free Negroes, feeding after Aukas. That's why I was writing Awukang. Yeah, the Awukang, the U is Ajukang, is me, because that's etymology. But anyways, you see, war with the Aluku. This god is also god of the Aluku tribe. And many more tribes, man. I'm just showing you this when I say I know my people God. It's not joke. This is my writings, my alphabet. Caucasian will tell you black people have no alphabet. This is my alphabet. Maybe I'm not black. Maybe that's it, but I don't know. Because this is Afaka. This is the writings of my people. You see, and Yukatal. Tal means language. Just saying. For those out there who might think, I'm gonna teach you, no, leave it alone, man. Just watch. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, I don't know, man. I'm just showing you what's out there. So I'm gonna show you what they did to this African teacher. He was at the university in South Africa, and he was attacked because he was telling the children to decolonize, man. Because he was saying all the jobs were the dirty jobs are done only by black people, black women particularly, cleaning hotel, cleaning the schools, cleaning the street. It has become normal to them. Just saying, in their own country. They are in Africa, mind you. Just saying, let's hear it. Fair use video review, let's hear it, man.
To class because the engagements were so warm and relevant to them. So that was the temperature.
Sure.
At the beginning, and I could feel it in my veins that I'm adding value.
This was becoming the class to go to.
Yeah, it was becoming the class to attend. The word was going out in the campus that it feels like there's a new sheriff in town who's offering a new language of teaching that is meaningful to the to students. In the test, I would ask them about the race question, the class question in reference to the township, and you could see their emotions, their opinions in the tests and the assignments that they were writing.
This is first year sociology, by the way, just to clarify.
First year sociology.
And of course, I mean, of course those questions would emerge. You can't be studying sociology in South Africa and not be introduced to questions of race, to questions of class,
because,
and various other questions. That's like the point of the discipline.
That's the point. Sociology is in a university for a reason. It's the conscious of the social sciences. It's a critical study of society. And what society do we have? We have a society crafted out of racism. We have a society crafted out of violent forms of patriarchy. We have a society constructed out of land dispossession, land theft, a displacement of indigenous black people, pushing them into poverty, pushing them into a system of racial capitalism where to be black is to be a laborer. And that system is not a system of 500 years ago, is it? You don't see it 200 years ago. You see it today, the person who clean the toilets, the people who sweep the streets, the people who clean bedrooms in the hotels are black people, are black women, That system is not natural. It's a manifestation of, firstly, dispossessing these people of their land and making them, therefore, to see their hands as labor power and as the only way for them to make a livelihood. That is why, therefore, the most demeaning forms of labor are done by black people. So in sociology, you've got to call such things by their names.
Absolutely.
That is the purpose of sociology. Craft out society the way it is and give it to the students, and they were enjoying it.
Right. Yeah. So let's get back to the story. So you're a new lecturer. You've got your PhD. By the way, one day we'll talk about what it means to have a PhD and how black academics have to have their PhDs.
Yeah, at the door before
and often white academics don't.
No.
But that's a story for another day. So you come in, you've got all the credentials, you're teaching, and you want to do a great job. You're doing a great job.
Yes.
By the way, this is a service to universities, young lecturers teaching first-year classes that other senior academics often don't want to because it's so much work.
Yeah.
And the class is humming, it's buzzing, you're having interesting conversations. Yeah. What happens next?
Well, I come from Nelson Mandela University. The University of the Free State, I've never been there before.
Where you're SRC president as well,
yes,
by the way.
I was SRC president at Nelson Mandela University. I grew up there from first year up to PhD level.
Sure.
So the culture of the place is in my veins. And at Nelson Mandela University, you would know, it's a paradise of activist scholars. So there, you are not just a student for exams and classrooms or attending classes, but your activism outside the classroom is actually what is encouraged in the university, because that's where you get to grow and broaden your thinking and your horizon to be a complete citizen, sort of. So scholars in that university also are not people fixated in the scholarship in the classroom, but they're also activists outside. So engaging in public discourse is a normal way of life as a scholar at the Nelson Mandela University. In fact, the university even encourages scholars to criticize the university itself.
Sure.
So the university is not just your employer, but it's also a terrain where, as a scholar, you must identify wrong things about it.
And that's what all good universities should do.
So
Promote critical discussion,
yes, exactly.
reflection. That's the project of the university.
So universities, as organizations operating in a capitalist market that we have today, they've got to open room for scholars to even critique the institutions themselves so that we keep them on track. They must be kept on track. They must be kept in check so that they continuously become institutions that are serving the public. Yeah. Because if you don't do that, they can easily tilt to the right and serve imperialist interests against the students, against staff members, and so on. So Mandela allowed that. So when I came to University of the Free State...
Can we stop? Because you keep saying interesting things. So let me... okay. and we're going to keep going with the narrative.
Yeah, sure. No worries.
But that's what academic freedom actually means. You know, it's this buzzword, academic freedom, which is often invoked to protect privilege in universities or protect entrenched interests. Academic freedom means the freedom to criticize your own institution, to have even that freedom. And that freedom has built the university as such an entrenched institution.
Spot on. Look, there are no holy cows in the terrain of knowledge. You know, knowledge institutions are called sites of struggle for that reason. You know, so you've got to criticize the very same institution that you are in. The very faculty that you're in, the very department, your own colleagues, even your own self. You've got to question what you're doing. You know?
And be ready for others to criticize you.
And be ready also to be criticized. You must be open and just be ready for robust engagement in everyday life. And if you don't have a thick skin for that, you shouldn't be working in a university.
Absolutely.
You know? You must go work in a farm where your views won't be contested. You know? Otherwise, for so long as you are an academic citizen, everything that you do and say and write must be up for critique.
Absolutely,
you know?
absolutely. So right. So where to? So you're teaching the course, everything's going well, you're sparking thought.
Yeah.
What next?
So my problem started on a Friday, 14th May, 2023. The Vice-Chancellor is presenting Vision 130 of the University of the Free State. I'm saying all these things because they're public knowledge. They're out there.
Sure.
So the Vice-Chancellor presents this vision. By the way, I read that vision, I think 3 or 4 days after I got appointed. You can Google it, you'll find it on the internet.
Sure.
So the first thing that surprised me, this vision is only 12 pages. And I don't know if you've read university visions in South Africa, but I'm a very committed student of vision statements of universities because they shape not only university life, but public life as a whole. So I really pay attention to them. The Vision 2020 document of Nelson Mandela University was about 71 pages. I don't know at UCT or
Sure. Yeah, I remember one which was probably 100 or so pages back when I was SLC president at UCT.
So these are quite big documents. But this one was only 12. And I only read it after a coffee break, you know. And it's written in a very strange way. It's written like a corporate market document. It doesn't feel like an academic, scholarly document grounded in the social sciences where it's supposed to originate from, you know? And I picked up 4 things. Firstly, it seems like there's an effort to decrease black students. Because University of the Free State, since, I would say, since the merger 2004, even worse after fees must fall, students have increased, especially black students. I think the university now has close to 40,000 students.
Right.
Now, in this document, but you won't find what I'm saying written in concrete, clear sentences.
Yeah.
You have to look for it in the English, you know? So in the English, it says the agenda basically is to decrease black students because they are saying, one, they want to increase the APS points going to their 130th anniversary. So University of the Free State in 2034 will be 130 years old. So when they get 2034, they want to get there with less undergraduate students.
Sure.
They want to get there with increased APS points. They want to cut off the extended studies program. Just on these three things alone, who are you talking about? You're talking about black students, you know?
Yeah.
And then they also say they want to boost the university up the rankings, right? And you know, rankings are unscientific. They don't exist.
Sure.
You know?
Very subjective.
Very
based on-
subjective.
yeah.
Many universities in this country and across the world have questioned and dismissed the item of rankings. Nelson Mandela University, Rhodes University, they don't participate in the rankings.
Sure.
Because how do you rank universities in an unequal world? I mean, if you do medicine in Walter Sisulu University, even if you are supervised by the best medical practitioners there,
Sure.
and I just happened to do my medicine at UCT, right? When we carry both our medicine degrees and we go to this unequal world that we know, you get automatically kicked out of the conversation because you come from a lowly ranked university.
No, sure. There's much to be said about the critique of those rankings.
So they don't reflect the quality of knowledge. They don't even serve the public.
So you made this critique of the vision. And I'm assuming that wasn't met with great satisfaction by the university, or?
Oh, no, it wasn't. Even in the room, you could feel the weight, the silence as I was speaking, but I didn't care. I just wanted to make my message across. That video is available on YouTube of the Invest.
Okay.
So
we'll share a link in the description of this episode.
So I basically said to the Vice Chancellor, I think you are trying to appease white feelings, white anxieties with this vision. You want to attract white people back for what? You know, because what he doesn't understand, or the people who wrote it, I'm just going to attach him because he's the one selling it. What they don't understand is what made the University of the Free State white, from the onset. It is the population manipulation control policy called apartheid. Apartheid made University of the Free State completely white.
And this is one of the things black people even don't understand. Black people were killed for 1200 years, starting from the 8th century Spain. That's why you got blackface and Zwarte Piet, all those stuff. If you didn't know, go back and watch that. But anyways, what they doing is they killed black people, stole their land, stole their language, everything, and then tell black people, no, you gotta compete with us. And even black people are surpassing them. And still till this day, Caucasian and all these other nations have to keep on fighting black people because they cannot contain black people in their ability, man. Everything on this planet, every music comes from black people. Everything on this planet they've gotten from black people. If one of these people want to have a good time with their wife, they have to act like a black man. Otherwise, their wife won't like them. Real talk. Just saying. They created all this falsehood in the past and they never plan to change it. That's what you need to understand. Because it's Dutch people. I live in the Netherlands and these are the same people who are in South Africa and Suriname doing the same thing. Before Israel was in Gaza, it was in Suriname called and Yode Savannah at the river. Go look it up. No, it's not Yode Savannah at the river. Jerusalem at the river. Look it up. Yode Savannah was a concentration camp in Suriname where they used to kill black people, man. It's of the Israeli so-called German Ashkenazis and Sephardim from Germany and Holland. Just saying. Those same people in South Africa, yes. In South Africa, they have Oranje Stad. And Suriname, they also got some Oranje building or whatever. No, let's leave it at that and hear a little bit more about this and then jump to another video. Various video review. So you hear what they saying is, for him speaking on the truth is causing trouble. So he was black people are supposed to suffer in silence. That's what they really saying. Various video review. Let's see it, man.
But it was being white. It is the population manipulates with this vision. You want to attract white people silence as I was speaking, but I didn't care. I just wanted to make my message across. That video, it's available on YouTube of the Invest.
Okay.
So
we'll share a link in the description of this episode.
So I basically said to the Vice Chancellor, I think you are trying to appease white feelings, white anxieties with this vision. You want to attract white people back for what? You know, because what he doesn't understand, or the people who wrote it, I'm just going to attach him because he's the one selling it. What they don't understand is what made the University of the Free State white, from the onset. It is the population manipulation control policy called apartheid. Apartheid made University of the Free State completely white. But it was being white in an African country. So once you have white spaces in an African country, it can only be the manipulation control policy called apartheid that makes you achieve that. Now, when apartheid is declared to be dismantled in 1994, what are you going to have? You are naturally going to have black people dominating in all spaces of public life because they are the majority of the population anyway. White people in South Africa are only 7% of the population. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Black people, you know how many we are? We are 82% of the population. So naturally, right, in any university, in any business, you're supposed to have black people as the majority because you are in an African country. Now, the problem with the University of the Free State, they think that the arrival of black people suddenly creates white anxieties for them. It's as if they are losing something. And that's probably the problem, a conversation we need to have, you know, that many white parents, they were not prepared for a black democracy. I like how Professor Andre Kidd puts this point. And them not being prepared for a black democracy, they've also socialized their children to this unpreparation of a black democracy. So it's as if now to be white, you must either exist in a small corner of being white or go to Australia. You know? You must just not coexist with the black people. You must just not be ready to be under the supervision of black people. You must do all means necessary to maintain white spaces, right? And that socialization of racism is at the core of the anxieties you find with the arrival of many black people at the University of the Free State. So the arrival of black people at the University of the Free State is not looked at as a positive, progressive outcome of a democratization of society. It's looked at as a threat. You even hear it in conversations informally that it's as if the arrival of black people has lowered the standards. But you ask yourself, where were these standards? Because when I got there, I had to have a PhD to be appointed, right? And when I walked inside, there are colleagues who've been teaching here for 20 years without a PhD. In fact, the very same vision says we need to increase the number of staff members with PhDs in the next 10 years. Why are you increasing PhDs if there was a quality?
Yeah, exactly.
So it shows you that the standards have been low anyway. And now that the higher education environment is becoming more competitive, PhDs are now required in the space, and we are the ones demanded to arrive already carrying them.
Okay, so
that's where my problem started.
So that was the critique.
That day I criticized him. Since then,
it sounds to me, obviously, I don't know all the inner workings of UFS, but a perfectly fair critique. I'm sure there may be people who have a different view, and that's what the academic project is all about. But that it's a fair critique, and it's a crucial critique. And it's a critique that the university, I would assume, should at least have been alive to.
Yeah.
So what happens next? Now you've done a fairly normal thing of voicing your concerns about the vision of the university and its effect on black students.
Yeah.
Where do we go next? Because the story gets deeper.
It gets deeper because that Friday, whether the Vice Chancellor knows this or not, it's my interpretation sitting here, right? So after criticizing on Friday, on Monday I got the first letter of charges. The charge was that I've written on Twitter that the everyone in the gender center seems to be getting jobs except black women. So we have an African gender center there. Okay. So they said that statement is false and it's going to wrangle racial tensions. That's what they say.
And who said this?
Now understand this. These are the racist people who've been killing black people in South Africa for 360 years. Dutch people from the Netherlands and so-called Ashkenazis from Germany and Sephardim. Catholic Church and Protestants, all these people. And they now gonna come and tell you about racial tensions. Even in the Netherlands, they have made law that you're not allowed to speak on slavery. Discrimination don't exist against black people in the Netherlands. If you didn't know, go to their website. Racism against black people does not exist in Europe. If you did not know, go look at the law, at the website of discrimination in the Netherlands. You won't see black people there. You will see in the LT group and the people who was killing black people in slavery and still killing them in Congo and everywhere. They are protected in the Netherlands. Yes. The murderers of black people, they are protected because, and the thing is, the murderers are making the law. The one who killed black people are making the laws for black people. Even in Uganda, these days they want to go to Uganda to tell Uganda what to do. Just saying, man. You see, so this professor stated his comments on Friday. Monday, they accused him falsely. You said black women don't get jobs. That will create racial tensions. Is the truth. So you're supposed to die in silence? I don't know where these people think they got the power or brain or being, because they get melanoma and skin cancer in the sun. So I can't understand how special you would be. Just saying. Fair use video review. I'ma jump to another video about this same kind of thing, man. But you've seen it. If you wanna see this video, you can go and see it over there. Dr. Pedro Zeleni on being victimized for teaching about racism, academic freedom, and UFS. SMWX channel. You can check it over there, man. I've just shown you only a small part of it. So, let's go here to Dr. James Smalls. Maybe I'll put him last, man. Maybe I'll put him in the last place to, cause this, I'll go on here, man. Sometimes YouTube these days, YouTube will try and stop things, man. Yeah, YouTube, don't know why they do it. I shouldn't say I don't know. This YouTube, they always changing their policy, man. They are always changing their policy. Just saying. Yeah, man. Yeah, let's watch this. Jesus was a black man born of a black woman, Dr. Mathole Motshekga. So let's hear it. Various video review.
Akara, but all this means the city of the sun, or the city sun god. So we have Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdala, even the French records say she's Mara Magdala and a negress, an Ethiopian negress. So Jesus was a black man, born of a black woman, and married to a black woman, Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdala, even the French records say she's Mara Magdala and a negress, an Ethiopian negress. So Jesus was a black man, born of a black woman, and married to a black woman. And it's not true that he was the mother was impregnated by the Spirit of God. They write the Bible later, ignore that story of creation, and they put the story of Adam, who is physically created by God.
According to the story.
According to their story.
Yeah.
And then from there, that God takes a rib out of this Adam and create a woman, which is all nonsense. There was also a philosophy of reincarnation, that there are people who lived in the past who can be born in small children. You find that a child actually is an older person, but is a child. They said, no, that should not be taught, because people will not obey us as the imperial power.
King David Studio podcast.
I have with me here someone I hold very highly, who's not.
So you will see when I will show you, Bishop Nathanyel will speak on the same thing, how the Bible was used to destroy black people. That's why I'm showing you this doctor, because he's also showing you that many of these things, that's why black people were not allowed to read, not even in South America, North America, Africa, South Africa. Black people were marginalized everywhere, killed for 1200 years. Don't let people come and tell you story. All other nations on the planet were killing black people for 1200 years. If you don't understand or know that, yeah, man. Fair use video review, and this doctor will explain to you where words like Egypt and all those words, where they come from. He will give you etymologies, just like I. That's why I'm showing this doctor also, because he speaks just like I speak. He will come out and tell you this word comes from that side and that side, that it's named tomato and not tomato because this happened, these people, all those things he will speak on, so in details. Fair use video review, let's hear it. I won't be stopping him too much because it's educational purpose for many people in Suriname, Holland, Belgium, where they speak Dutch, even South Africa, who don't know that many of these things they were taught are lies. And they will come and debate somebody like me. At least not debate me, try to debate, because I don't debate. I know my culture from time before ancient time. Before time was time, I already had my culture. And most this doctor will tell you the same kind of stuff, that the Jesus story is not a new story. In my culture, the description they're giving of Jesus is called Tata Yesu Kwami in my culture. So I'm gonna leave it at there. And that's why I was showing you this thing already, these writings. This is just like your Bible. 20 years, the Caucasian came to my people and stayed with my people to write about their God and their gods and their culture. That's why you see here, Fodu is a rank, Papagadu is a rank of Jukasa or Jukasa, of Jakasa. I write Jukasa, but you see it here, Jakasa. Kasa is Osu, just like Jesus, Ja Osu. That's so in my, let's leave it at that. Yeah. This Tata Fodu, that's why I told you in my culture, Fodu is the god of Moses in the Bible. The python he had on the snake that ate up the other snakes of the so-called Egyptian. Egyptian and the so-called black Israelites are the same people, man. It's just the different tribes. That's how I perceive it. Ham, Shem, and Japhet, they say were brothers. So yeah, man, let's leave it at that. Believe whatever you want to believe. I'm just showing you what's out there. Let's see it. Fair use video review. So I'm showing you, when I say that I know my ancient God from time before time, it's real talk. Not every maroon comes from the plantation. Not every maroon is a runaway from the plantation. Just saying. Understand that many Maroons were fighting against the British armies and the Dutch armies along the coast of West Africa and America for 200 years. They never told you about those stories. No, I know. Because you're supposed to suffer in silence and listen to this crazy story. Maroons come from the plantation. No, they don't. Maroons are black people who was living in the jungle in South America. The Caucasian came over there and said, there are black people in these jungles. Yeah, the Portuguese or some other group must have left them there. Yeah, they look like West African. They are the West African type. Yeah, we will call them African Americans. That's how the whole African American came about. Comes from Maroons. Till today, Maroons are called Africans in Suriname. Yes, that's why the other Maroons are in Jamaica, Akongpong. That's why my people, Nyakungpono, and all those. That's why, yeah, let's leave it at that. Otherwise, it's too long and too much talk. Let's show you what's out there. You don't have to believe anything that's been showing or what I've said. It's more about showing you what's out there. And I understand if you don't understand. It's normal. You won't be the first one to not understand, because the Caucasian who has taught you about Maroons and Africans is a liar. So we all understand that. If you choose to believe a liar, it's up to you. Fair use video review. Let's see this, man.
Knowledge intrigues me.
A philosophy of reincarnation. That there are people who lived in the past who can be born in small children. You find that a child actually is an older person, but is a child. They said, no, that should not be taught, because people will not obey us as the imperial power.
King David Studio Podcast.
I have with me here someone I hold very highly, whose knowledge intrigues me, and how he knows so much intrigues me as well. I have a former chief whip of the ANC many years ago, and it's a privilege. What is your African name?
Nekirofo. Mathole Nekirofo Mutsega.
Nekirofo.
Yes.
Wow.
Nekirofo, you'll find that name amongst the first pharaohs. It's written in Greek, Nekirofes.
What?
Yes.
How did you inherit such a big name? Surely somebody must have given.
It's my guardian spirit.
Jeez. Is it a name that's found in your family?
Yes, in all my family, every household will have a child called Kirufo.
Okay.
Kirufo. Like his Kirufo is my son.
Okay.
My elder sister was Kirufo. And my younger sister was also Kirufo.
Yes.
Yeah. So the name runs from the 1700s.
My gosh.
Yeah.
But you say it has a link to, it's written in Greek and all of that.
Yeah, Nekirofes.
How does your people connect with this other nation?
We came from a place called Napta. Napta, next to the Nuba Mountains in the Sudan, which was the heartland of ancient Ethiopia. And that's why the people from that area came to be known as Nubians. And those are the people who created ancient Ethiopian civilization. And the ancient Ethiopians or Nubians created the Egyptian civilization.
Got you.
But from that area, other Nubians went to West Africa, others to East Africa, others to the South. And that's why you would find empires like Mongale, Munomuki, Mwanamutapa, Angola, Benin, Zanj on the coast. All these kingdoms were, and the Kantasis of ancient Ethiopians, all these kingdoms actually came out of ancient Ethiopia. And these were the custodians of ancient African civilizations. So the Egyptians are descendants of indigenous Africans who originated at the source of the Nile. But you see, from the time of Abraham, who was a colonialist, you have the people called the Hyksos, who are the forebears of the Jews. And then you have the Libyans of Sheshonq. Then you have the Persians. You have the Greeks, the Romans, the Arabs. All these people colonized Egypt. That's why the population of Egypt became so mixed. Today, you won't even recognize that those people are indigenous Africans. And they are called Copts or Coptic people. And people don't even ask themselves the root of the word Copt, because it's Kapta.
Okay. Oh, from where they're from.
Yeah, in Greek, Kapta is Coptis. I was telling you that we originated in Napta. The word Napta, Kapta, and even the word Egypt derives from Ha Kapta, the land of God Ptah. Wow. And the name Ethiopia, it comes from Atape. But if you say Tape or Tapa, if you reverse Pa and Ta, then you have Ptah. And there's an Ethiopian pharaoh, Sabaka, who discovered an old document called the Memphite stone. That stone later came to be named after him as Sabaka stone. That stone, today you find it in the British Museum. That is the oldest document which talks about the origins of the world, how everything was created. But that document was published in 716 BC. But what happens is they write the Bible later, ignore that story of creation, and they put the story of Adam, who is physically created by God.
According to the story.
According to their story.
Yeah.
And then from there, that God takes a rib out of this Adam and create a woman, which is all nonsense. But we have been made to believe that story, and all of us, even those of us who are not white or Europeans, we believe we're the children of Adam. But if you go into history, or if you just make calculations based on the Bible, Adam was created in the year 4004 BC. By the year 30,000 BC, Africans had already built pyramids, temples. They've already invented writing. They had produced literature. Now, why on earth do we take the later story, foreign story, and make it our story, and then leave our true story that we have, which is documented? Because the Romans don't have a history. They are histories that with Romeo and Juliet, somewhere in the 700 years BC. Now, they got hold of the Jewish story and found that because they wanted to build an empire, they must use the Jewish story to say, no, all of us come from Adam. They want to use that to unify us. And when they got the Christian story, everybody was forced to be a Christian. But the Christianity that the Romans created is a materialistic Christianity, because it gives you a white woman who has a white boy child, and they say the white woman is the mother of God, the white child is the son of God. And that story was also false, because the mother of Jesus was not a European. She came from the family of Ptolemy, Mary Amun. Those two names you can't find anywhere in the world except in Africa.
Yeah.
But when the Greeks colonized Egypt, Ptolemy becomes Ptolemy, and Mary Amun becomes Mariam.
Okay.
But you can't find the same name, Mariam, anywhere in the world except in Africa. So Jesus was known as Joshua ben Mary Amun.
Okay.
And Yoshu, that Yeshua in Greek is Jesus. Mary Amun is Mariam. So Jesus was called
Son of
Yeshua ben Mariam. And that's why in Ethiopia now you find a church called the Church of Mariam of Zion. But the other thing that people don't realize is that actually what is called, St. Augustine says that which is called Christianity never has not existed. It has existed before the beginning, from the beginning of time. Now ask yourself, where did it exist?
Exactly. That's why when I say I use the Bible to convey my stories, it's not a joke like many know. This book you see, of Zwarte Vrije Staat in Suriname, it's my people book. Let's see if I got it here. But where is it, man? The fifth? You see here also peace with the Okanisi. My people are called Okanisi or Okang. You see, feeding after Aukas free Negroes. When I say my people were not on a plantation, it's real talk. Maybe y'all don't understand that there are people in prison, black people in prison while you are outside in freedom. The prison today is like the plantation back then. You are outside while other Negroes are in jail. Those niggers in jail are on the plantation while you are free. Just saying. The mediator God. So this is just like the Bible came to be. This one name is a Zwart Vrije Staat in Suriname. Let me try and check it if I can find the title here. Blah blah blah. Yes, I got the title. Yeah, I got the title here, man. Here, you see? This is where I come from. This Vrije Staat is not Suriname. See, it is in Suriname, but it's not really in Suriname because Suriname is smaller than where I come from. My land in Suriname, so-called South America, is bigger, like maybe 5 to 10 times bigger than Paramaribo and the whole Suriname thing alone. I come from Sipaliwini, Maroon territory, Maroon and native Indians territory. See, this Zwarte Vrije Staat in Suriname is just like your Bible. Just like I'm showing you now that they're writing things about my people. That's the same way they did all this. This book is about my grandfather's grandfathers. Yeah? this book is about my grandfather. Let me show you here. That's why I was showing you this. Oh no, this is the other one. Maybe this one. Yes, this one, I think. So you see it here? Boom. See, in the band van the oracle. The Diki, see, the number 5 is an oracle. The Akalali is an oracle. Da Vinci is an oracle. That's why when I say Jesus is a spirit, that's what I mean. This name you see of my grandfathers at number 5, Diki, Martelar, and that's why I was saying my grandfather's grandfather is the first Superman ever existed before the 1800s. Yes, you know nothing. Let's leave it at that. This Da Akalali is reformer and destroyer. Is one of the god of the Maroon people, man. You see, this war 1986 till 1992 is when the government of Suriname sent me to the Netherlands. See, Suriname een win gewest van de Republiek. See, Okanisi, economics. And look when these 19th century things before, let's leave it at that, man. You see, but this, when I say my grandfather was the first Superman, check it at number 5. And number 8, the terugkeer van Dickie is like the return of my grandfather's grandfather. Because my people, they reincarnate. My people, they don't believe in reincarnation. We know our culture. I can point to my God with my finger. That is my God. I can draw my God into a picture. So clear is my culture. It's not maybe this, no. Real talk. Yeah. That's why when I say Maroons, and not all Maroons come from slavery, from the plantation, yeah, I'm not joking. I know my history. You don't know yours, and the Caucasian told you a story. That's why I'm showing you all these stories. Just say it. Various video review. So this is a book, like a sequel of the Bible. You already see here Oracle, the Okang is my people. That's why I write King Keng, Kango, King Keng, Kano, Keng, and all those things. It's real. It's not your fantasy of the Caucasian that many Negroes will take and then run with it. I have no time for children's work, man. So let's see it. Fair use video review. You can see it here also. War with the Aluku, chapter blah blah. From war to peace, when the Caucasian came and tried to make peace with my people. The first treaty with the Caucasian was in 1620. 1620. Yeah. Nigga. This is my writings. I'm showing all this because the Caucasian will tell people that Maroons have no writings. Black people have no writings. They will say all that. Even all black people I really know in the world have some kind of writing. Even the Ewe, their language is being studied in Germany. Yes, African language is being studied at the university in Germany. But I thought black people were stupid and they have no writings. They have no land, yeah. They have no language also, man, no. These people who gets melanoma in the sun, skin cancer every day, they are the children of God. Let them go and do a DNA test and show the world that they are the children of God in the Bible they claim. Just saying. Fair use. I've already shown that video, so I know the result of that. Fair use video review. Let's keep going with Dr. Msleni.
That Christianity comes from the thing that people don't realize is that actually what is called, St. Augustine says that which is called Christianity never has not existed. It has existed before the beginning, from the beginning of time. Now ask yourself, where did it exist? That Christianity comes from Africa. And the name Christ is a distortion of the word harakte, which is also spelled XP acte. In Greek, XP acte is XP ichtoch and is pronounced Christos. So there is no evidence of a word Christ existing anywhere except in Africa. And actually, you see the pyramids of ancient Ethiopia and Egypt. You also have the sphinxes. Those sphinxes are the oldest statue of the Christ, who was also called Uzara, the son of the sun, in Greek is Osiris. So that's why there was a fight over Christianity, because Jesus was not Christ. He was a prophet of the African Christ, and he was appointed by the great Kara, Solar Brotherhood, to propagate a popular version of Christianity for the masses. But that's why we distinguish between esoteric Christianity, which is kind of a secret doctrine, and exoteric Christianity. So Jesus was teaching the popular one, because the problem there was that people were rough, they were aggressive,
unruly.
Yeah. So Jesus had to teach something to tame the people. So he was sent. He was not sent by God. He was sent by the great Solar Society, which actually is a secret organization that came from the source of the Nile. And this great Solar Society was called, were called the Servants of the Sun, Shamshu Hara, and in Greek Shamshu Hor, and then also called Horus Kings. That's why the eagle became the most important bird, because it symbolizes royal, the royal soul, spirituality. You can see also this, the Germans
The Americans
use it, the Americans use it, but they don't know where it comes from.
Yeah.
You see, for instance, even the word royal itself, royal derives from Ra, which is the sun. So it's only Africans who say we are the children of the sun. The Ngunis will say Sibelanga, children of the sun. The Shonas will say we are Karanga, children of the sun. And on Lake Victoria, there's an island called Ukara, where our institute, Kara Heritage Institute, takes the name. That island is also called Uranga. Ranga is the sun. Or Ulanga, Langa is the sun. Kara is the sun. So that area, you'll find people who call themselves on that island Vakara, Vakaranga, Vakalanga, Wakaranga, Vakalanga.
It's all the same thing.
All the same.
All referring to people of the sun.
People or children of the sun.
Yeah.
And that's where even the Egyptians, when they moved up, they established a city called Saqqara. Sa means land, Kara, the land of the sun. And the people who go to West Africa, they have a city in Ghana, Accra, which is a distortion of Akara, which is the city of the sun. And then at Mapungubwe here and Great Zimbabwe, they had temples, African people, before the whites came. The temples were called Akara, and then the Greeks say it's Acropolis.
Okay.
Even up in Egypt, they talk about Acropolis. And then the Arabs talk about Al-Akara. But all this means the city of the sun, or the city of the sun god. So we have better explanations of who we are, where we come from, how we got to where we are.
You've said a mouthful, but I want you to complete your thought. You're saying because?
Yeah, but you see, the materialist Christianity of the Romans, which is not about God, is about capturing people and promising them that if you believe in Jesus, when you die, you will go to heaven. And then there was also a philosophy of reincarnation, that there are people who lived in the past who can be born in small children. You find that a child actually is an older person, but is a child. They said, no, that should not be taught, because people will not obey us as the imperial power, because they will think they have another chance of coming back to life. So they banned that. Now, when they got into Ethiopia, there was a church called Pa Laka. You can see Pa means the house, Laka, the sun. So Pa Laka is like a Zaun, which they pronounce Zion, is the city of the sun. And the oldest university in Africa was the University of Anu. And then in the Bible, they call it On. And the Greeks call it Heliopolis, the city of the sun. So the sun is central.
Why is the sun central?
The sun is central because You see, as an African philosopher called Lord Kem or Tau Harama in Greek, thought Hermes, he says that the sun is the visible God because the sun that we see doesn't have light. There's a sun behind it. That sun behind it is called Kara, which means spirit of the sun, or the divine light. So this sun is a transmitter of the divine light, and that's why all the African kings, or rather, let me say the sun, is called Fura, Pharaoh, and in the Khoisan language, Pariu. And that means the Sun King, or the King of Heaven. But it
You see, Pharaoh, Paru, Pyru, like an pyromaniac, pyroman in Dutch. Pyramid. Just saying. Various video review. I'm gonna show a small part yet and then jump to the to another video. Various video review. Educational purpose Dutch translation, man.
it is also called Tobela Yamashako in the Kilobedu language, which means someone who controls all the four quarters of the world. And that's why you have Radio Tobel. And whether you are in Venda or Haskukune or Ulobedu, Tobela, even when you greet, I'll say Tobel, which means I acknowledge the fact that you are the child of the sun. You are a royal person because you are a child of the sun. And you will say Murena, because Murena is another word for the sun or the heavenly being. That's why Vasotu, they will say Murena Emohol, meaning the king. The Xhosas will talk about Kumukane. The Zulus will say Isilo Samabandla. But Isilo Samabandla is the same as Tobela Yamashaku. And that's why African kings and queens were defined as divine or sacred beings. So we are closer to God as African people. And that's why we didn't make pictures of God, because we see God as a spiritual being, as a light being. But we have been given white pictures now. We think we are educated, we are civilized, we are godly, but when actually African people are not worshipping God. They are worshipping Europeans.
You see, that's the difference. Because that's why the laws of Suriname, for example, they don't apply to Maroons. No. My Maroons people are autonomous. These days they trying to change that. But when I go even to the French side, where from the Maroon place to the French Guyana, if the gendarme, the police over there comes to me and I say Maroni, they will walk away. They say, oh, Ale. Yes, I need no paper. Maroon people need no paper to be in America. If you didn't know, now you know. Just saying. If you identify as Negro, you will need papers. But if you identify Maroon, Maroni, they will let you go. Of course, you must be able to speak my language or some other Maroon language if it's necessary. It must be real. My people don't live in fakeness. That's one thing you need to understand. As soon as you start lying, you faking it, my Most High God will drop you to your grave. That's what I know. That's why I say so. So I'll jump to Dr. Or my Dr. Bishop Nathanyel, man, because he's speaking on people using the Bible to destroy black people, man. So let's see it. Fair use video review.
So get your spirit right, sisters, brothers. Has not happened yet. Chapter 4, verse 5. That's constructive criticism. You know, there's good criticism. There's bad criticism and there's constructive criticism. Some brothers only know destructive criticism. We deal with constructive. But all praise to the Most High. I'm pretty sure it was good. You saw it, Deacon Laba?
Yeah, I saw everything. It was good.
Okay. Well, all praise. Write this down. The title of today's class is They Tried to Use the Bible to Destroy Us. They tried to use the Bible to destroy us. And what prompted this class is that many people, I did an interview with a brother named Shaheen, and several other in South Africa, where they all said the Bible was used to destroy us, which is true. So I'm going to go through a little history on that today. Who's reading for me?
Shalom, Bishop Officer Leon.
Officer Leon? Yeah. Open that for me, Isaac. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 4. And let's start at verse 5.
Yes, sir. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that you should do so in the land whither you go to possess it.
All right, we need another mic. That mic is buzzing, and give me a better mic, please. All right, read on.
Keep therefore and do them.
So keep therefore and do them.
For this is your wisdom.
God's laws, his commandments are your wisdom.
And your understanding.
And your understanding.
In the sight of the nations.
In the sight of the nations.
Which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
Let me ask you, when did this come to pass? Show of hands, when did this come to pass? Yes, Yehoshua, right? Yes, sir. Under King David? No. Officer Micah? King Solomon. Did come to King Solomon. Yes, he's correct. King Solomon. Remember Queen of Sheba? But is that really what this is talking about? It said in this, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and you understand in the sight of the nations. So Queen of Sheba just was one person. So although that was a glimpse, when did this come to pass? The answer is, go ahead, Officer Mendel. It hadn't happened yet. Right, it has not happened yet. It has not happened yet. Give me the precept in Zechariah. What was it 8:23, somewhere around there? You know what I'm talking about? Y'all forgive me if I pull the wrong verse. It's been a while. Turn it on. Press the button. Come on, you.
Testing. I use this. Zechariah chapter 8, verse 23. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of the nations, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Jew, saying, we will go with you, for we have heard that God is with you.
So that's future tense. Okay, that's just an example of what's going to happen. And the next precept is Zechariah 14, where it says the nations must go up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. Everybody understand that? Okay. So now, back to Deuteronomy 4. Where were you at, Officer Leon? Deuteronomy 4, what verse? 6, go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 6. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
So today nobody says that about us. They don't say that about us right now, but they will. Okay. So now notice what it says. Keep therefore. See, read verse 6 again, just the top part.
Keep therefore and do them.
Keep therefore and do them. Now give me Revelation 22:14, showing you it's going to say the same thing. Very similar. I'll say it that way. Very similar.
Revelation 22 and verse 14. Blessed are they that do his commandments.
Blessed are they that do his commandments. Blessed are they that do his commandments. That's what say. So from the Old Testament to the New, it's going into the same thing. Go ahead, read on.
Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter into the gates and to the city.
Right, let's go on back to Deuteronomy 4, please. And verse 7.
Verse 7, Deuteronomy 4 and 7. For what nation is there so great, who hath God so nigh unto them, as the Lord our God is in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great, that have statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law, which I set before you this day?
Let's get the precept on that. Let's go to Nehemiah chapter 9, verse 13. Nobody likes Officer Liam's mic. I'm seeing messages saying his mic is terrible. Officer Joseph. Okay. Go ahead, Officer Liam, read that.
Nehemiah 9 and verse 13.
Listen good. Listen up.
Thou camest down also upon Mount Sinai.
So the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai. Go ahead.
And spakest with them from heaven. And gavest them right judgments.
And gave to the Israelites right judgments.
And true laws.
And true laws.
Good statutes.
Good statutes.
And commandments.
And commandments. Go ahead.
And madest known unto them thy holy Sabbath.
And made known unto them, the Israelites, thy holy Sabbath. Go ahead.
And commandest them precepts.
And commandest us precepts.
Statutes.
Statutes.
And laws.
And laws.
By the hand of Moses, thy servant.
By the hand of Moses, thy servant. So I'm starting off showing you the beautiful context of the Bible, of the scripture. So I'm starting off that way. Give me 2 Chronicles chapter 15. And let's see what happened. 15 and 3.
2 Chronicles 15 and verse 3. Now, for a long season.
Now, for a long season.
Israel hath been without the true God.
So when we sinned, we were without the true God. Go ahead.
And without a teaching priest.
And we had no teaching priests. Go ahead.
And without law.
And without law. And without law. Those same beautiful laws that God gave us, he said there came a time when we would be without law. And without law, you're without the true God. Go ahead.
But when they in their trouble did turn unto the Lord God of Israel and sought him, he was found of them.
So just as it was back then, it is today. But when they in their trouble, are we in trouble today?
Yes, sir.
You better believe it. But when they in their trouble did turn unto the Lord God of Israel and sought him, he was found of them. We always got to keep that in memory. 2 Chronicles 17 and 1.
2 Chronicles 17 and 1.
I want y'all to pay close attention. Go ahead.
And Jehoshaphat, his son, reigned in his stead.
Come on with this mic. Joseph. That thing hurting my ears. I'm blaming Joseph for everything.
Elishama and Jeroham priests. And they taught in Judah and had the book of the law of the Lord with them. And went from throughout all the cities of Judah and taught the people. Now, until I bring thee word. For Herod.
Everybody with me on that?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you read Genesis, it tells you that Joseph, we're not going to read it today, he had a dream about the 11 stars bowing before him. And his brothers got mad, his daddy got mad, said, what, shall me and your mother bow before you too? It was all symbolizing that Joseph would become great in Egypt and Israel would bow to him for saving their lives. Everybody with me so far? All right, verse 2.
And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered.
And pain to be delivered. Right? Now, give me that in Matthew 1:21. This is what is, here's a precept.
The book of Matthew, chapter 1 and verse 21. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins.
So the purpose of the Messiah is to save his people. So we were waiting. We pained to be delivered. We wanted the Messiah to come to deliver us. Back to Revelation 12, verse 2 again.
Revelation 12 and 2. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered.
Because we were under what? Roman dominion. Go ahead.
And there appeared another wonder in heaven. And behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
7 heads and 10 horns. Go ahead.
And 7 crowns upon his head. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven.
The third part of the stars, remember verse 1 talked about the 12 stars. So the third part of the stars refers to Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and a remnant of the northern kingdom. The third part was 4 parts. Everybody with me on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, read that again.
And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth.
Did cast them to the earth.
And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born.
Now let's see who that dragon is talking about. Matthew 2:13.
Matthew 2, verse 13. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word. For Herod will seek the young child to destroy him.
Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. Herod was an Idumean, a Roman. Herod was an Idumean, an Edomite. a Roman. So this great red dragon, when we go back to Revelation 12, is talking about Rome, but in particularly Herod. Okay, right. Herod, Idumean rulers of Palestine. Exactly. All of these were Edomites. You had Antipater, Julius Caesar, all Edomites. All of these guys that's mentioned right there, you see right there. Edomites. Officer Leon, where you at?
Revelation 12:3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born.
So now, Christ came on the scene. Okay, read.
And she brought forth a man-child.
So the man-child is Christ. The man-child, I'm gonna stop right there. No, we don't.
And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne.
So being caught up to God and to his throne. Go to Acts chapter 1 and 9. Let's start there.
Acts 1 and 9. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight.
Christ was taken up, and a chariot received him out of their sight. Go ahead.
And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, 2 men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Jesus which is taken up from you into heaven shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven.
So now what I want to discuss is, what did Christ teach us while he walked with us? Watch this. Give me Matthew 4 and 4. I didn't forget the topic. Again, the topic is they tried to destroy us using the Bible. I remember the topic. But I just want to show you the honor and glory of the Bible first.
Yes, sir. The book of Matthew, chapter 4 and verse 4. But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God.
So Christ glorified and honored the word of God. He said we have to live by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. That means the whole Bible. So when you hear Christians say, oh, no, don't deal with that part of the Bible. I don't know. They're wrong. They don't know what they're talking about. Okay? If we can keep it, we have to keep it. Everybody understand that? Read again, Officer Leon.
It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God.
Now watch this. Hey, give me that one that just popped into my head. Give me, in Isaiah it says he will magnify the law. Who knows what that one is? That's the one I want. Isaiah 4, what is it, 42? 42. Get me that. Get me that.
Isaiah 42 and verse 21. The Lord is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law.
This is about Christ. He will magnify the law.
And make it honorable.
And make it honorable. So Christ never did away with God's laws. He would magnify the law and make it honorable. Okay? For example, give me Matthew 5 real quick. Just for a quick example, then we're going to move back to the topic. Go ahead, read that.
Matthew 5 and 28.
No. Let's deal with 21.
Oh, Matthew 5. Okay, yes, sir. The book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 21. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, Thou shalt not kill, and whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment.
So now this is how he gave the law. Now he's going to make it honorable by showing us the root of it. Go ahead.
But I say unto you, that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment.
You got some Israelites who are angry with us without a cause. They don't know us, never met us, but they hate our guts. They're praying and wishing death upon brothers and sisters. Okay? Christ said what? Read that again.
But I say unto you, that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment.
You got to start asking people, hey, what did they do to you? Did they commit adultery against you? Nope. Did they steal from you? Nope. Did they bear false witness against you? Nope. Did they, give me another law, did they lie on you? That's bearing false witness. Anything. Steal from you, whatever. The answer would be, nope. Well, what you so mad for? I don't know. I'm just mad. Read it again.
But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And whosoever shall say to his brother, Rakah.
Now, when you see that word rakah, when you look at the precept right there, it says vain fellow. I'll give you another word for vain fellow. Purple faggots. Purple faggots. That's rakah. Go ahead.
Shall be in danger of the council. But whosoever shall say, thou fool, shall be in danger of hellfire.
Now, you might ask, what's the difference between rakah or thou fool? There is no difference. It's the same slanderous insult for no reason. Now, I understand you calling a brother name because he committed adultery against you. He stole from you. He said, mother, he did this to me, he did that. But Christ is saying this guy did nothing to you. And you got an attitude. What you mad for, bruh? What you mad for? Christ said you are in danger of hellfire. Y'all see that right there? Hellfire. That's that thermonuclear fire that's going to come on the earth. You in danger of that. And all y'all following behind that foolishness, you are in danger of hellfire. All we can do is warn you. That's all we can do. Go ahead.
Therefore, if thou bring thy gift to the altar, and there rememberest that thy brother hath aught against thee.
So now you want to keep the high holidays. And then you remember, you know what? I was slandering my brother. I called him rakah. I called him thou fool. I called him a purple faggot. Go ahead.
Leave there thy gift before the altar.
Leave your gift before the altar.
And go thy way. First be reconciled to thy brother. And then come and offer thy gift.
Then you come offer. Everybody understand that? This is the easy law. So this is how Christ magnified the law and made it honorable. That's just one example. There's many more, but that's for another time. Let's go on back now. Go back to Luke 10 now in 1. Luke 10 and 1.
The book of Luke, chapter 10 and 1. After these things, the Lord appointed other 70 also, and sent them 2 and 2 before his face into every city and place, whither he himself would come.
This is the same thing we read about in the book of Chronicles, is it not?
Yes, sir.
Joseph did the same thing. But we say it started here. No, it didn't start here. They was doing that way back then. Because Israel tends to forget the law. Read that again.
And after these things, the Lord appointed other 70 also, and sent them 2 and 2 before his face into every city and place, whither he himself would come. Therefore said he unto them, the harvest truly is great.
Why is the harvest great? Because Israel numbers what, brothers? Sand of the sea. They left that imprint on you.
My mouth it hath commanded.
God's mouth commanded these words. Go ahead.
And his spirit it hath gathered them.
And his spirit it hath gathered them. So now we were talking about Rome. So what I showed you is what Christ taught, what the spirit of Christ through Paul taught regarding our records, the Bible. To constantly read it, be in meditation on it, okay? Read every word. None of the words of this book shall fail. How Christ taught the law, magnified the law, and made it honorable. So I also said that America is an extension of ancient Rome. That fourth beast, so we're going to discuss that fourth beast as America today and what happened to the 12 tribes of Israel. Back to Daniel 7. All right, I hope y'all do. I hope y'all do. Right, this is their media. That's this place here. Everybody understand that?
Hello.
Meaning he was greater. This horn that came up was greater than Spain, greater than France, greater than Britain. How so? This horn had eyes. Eyes mean what? Vision. The Industrial Revolution was this country here. All the great inventions, including airplanes, flying, going to the moon, nuclear war, the bombs, the missiles. Here.
Scientific
guns, that's this place here. Everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
France had to get their technology from here. Spain got their technology from here. Britain got their technology from America here. So read that part again, Liam. And it had the part about the eye and the horn, even of that horn.
Even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things.
So that mouth is their media. That mouth is their media that is global. Go ahead.
Whose look was more stout than his fellows.
Whose look, they became greater than their fellows. All the other European countries, America's greater than every last one of them. You understand that?
Yes,
that's
sir.
why in the New Testament, it calls this place Babylon the what?
The great.
The great. It's the greatest nation on earth. Everybody understand that? All right, I hope y'all do. I hope y'all do. Right, this is their media. Their media is the greatest. It's the mouth that speaks great things. The lies against God, against the Bible, against the Israelites. Their media is worldwide. Their media even dictates what the other European media says. I hope y'all understand that. Okay, okay. Very good. Now from there, Officer Leon.
Yes, sir.
Give me 2nd Esdras 11:39.
Second Ezra chapter 11 and verse 39. Art not thou it that remainest of the four beasts,
So we're still talking about the fourth beast. Go ahead.
whom I made to reign in my
You
world?
see what Christ said? To whom I made to reign in my world. Go ahead.
That the end of their times might come through them.
So the end of the world is going to come through America and her allies. Go ahead.
And the fourth came.
And the fourth came. What verse you at?
That was verse 40. This is verse 40.
You at verse 40. Go ahead.
And the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were past and had power over the world.
You see that? It overcame all the beasts that were past and had power over the world. Let me show you that. And had power. Give me that Revelation 17. I think it's the last verse. About that whore. See, there are many similitudes that reference America that churches all ignore.
Oppression.
With much wicked oppression. Go ahead.
And so long.
Jump down to the last verse for time's sake.
And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
Y'all see that? That woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. That's what I wanted right there. Why? Because when we go back off Siliam,
Second Esdras, chapter 11 and verse 40, and the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were past and had power over the world.
See that? And had power over the world. This is that same whore. It's just using a different similitude. Everybody understand that? I hope y'all taking notes. Go ahead.
With great fearfulness.
With great fearfulness.
And over the whole compass of the earth.
And over the whole compass of the earth.
Which with much wicked oppression.
With much wicked oppression. Go ahead.
And so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit.
With what?
With deceit.
With what?
With deceit.
With deceit. Now chapter 12, verse 10 to 13, we're going to read.
Second Esdras chapter 12 and verse 10. And he said unto me, this...
Hey, do you have the eagle? Not the regular eagle. I want the Esdras eagle. I don't know if y'all got that one. I know I just sprung that on you. It's all right. So read that again, Officer Leon. Thank you.
Daniel 7, verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
To wear out the saints of the Most High is like a pair of sneakers. What do you mean, like a pair of sneakers? When you wear out sneakers, you know you can look at the bottom of a sneaker and tell what brand it is? When you wear it out, it's all run down. You can't tell what brand it is. You don't know if it's Nike, Adidas, Converse, Pro-Keds. I don't even know if they still got Pro-Keds. They still got that sneaker? Damn.
So what he's showing you here is the places in the Bible where Jesus already told you, or the Christ already told you, they was gonna use black people. Yeah, they use black people. Black people got nothing in return to show for it, for anything. Even, yeah, man, let's hear a bit more of it. A various video review. I got the video coming behind this also still of Professor James Smalls. But yeah, let's see it if I got time to drop that one behind this also. Various video review, let's see it.
That was a sneaker when I was a kid. Damn, nobody know what I'm talking about. So, there was no name to it. So when you wear the sneaker over and over, it gets worn down so bad that you can't even identify the sneaker. So read that again, Officer Liam.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
They wore us out in slavery. Right, there's the sneakers. Y'all, yeah, there's the sneakers, for example. It's all worn out. Don't nobody want that. Ain't no damn good. That ain't worn out bad enough, but that's an example of worn out sneakers. So they wore us out in slavery so bad, we are unidentifiable. You know that there are records, I believe it was J. Rogers, if I'm not mistaken. He said you wouldn't even know so-called African Americans were black if it was not for their complexion. He said because their mentality has been whitewashed.
Exactly. This is what I was saying to those Surinamese Negroes from the city. Like, because to Maroons, People from the city and the plantation are Caucasian because they behave like Caucasian. They were destroyed. That's the difference between a Negro, a plantation Negro, and a Maroon. Maroon still got their history before time was time. I know my God. I'm not from a plantation. Some Maroons are from a plantation. Their village is called Poligudu. The village where runaway slaves live in Suriname is called Poligudu. They are also Maroons, but there are Maroons who are POWs who was fighting against the British Army and the Dutch Army along the west coast of Africa and and the coast of America. And America is Haiti, Española. Columbus was in Haiti, Española. That is really America. All those other stuff is stolen, just like everything else. Various video review. Let's hear it.
They think like chocolate-covered black and over and whitewash. And we are unidentifiable. You know that there are records, I believe it was J. Rogers, if I'm not mistaken. He said you wouldn't even know so-called African Americans were black if it was not for their complexion. He said because their mentality has been whitewashed. They think like chocolate-covered black people. Then you get mad why people in Africa don't want you to come there. Because you bring all your filthy ways from here, there.
Exactly what many people don't understand. When I tell them, when African or Maroon say, you have no culture, this is what they mean. They mean your behavior is exactly like that of the white man. You don't know your forefathers' God. I know my forefathers' God from before time. I know my original God. That's the difference. Those Negroes, plantation Negroes, are broken. In Suriname, those Negroes, city Negroes, they don't know what they are, whom they are. They live like Caucasian. Many of them they even got Caucasian families within their family tree and all those stuff. Just saying. Various video review, they are buck broken.
You see it happen in Jamaica, Haiti, Trinidad, I'm not mistaken. He said you wouldn't even know so-called African Americans were black if it was not for their complexion. He said because their mentality has been whitewashed. They think like chocolate-covered black people. Then you get mad why people in Africa don't want you to come there. Because you bring all your filthy ways from here, there. You see it happen in Jamaica, Haiti, Trinidad, so-called African Americans. Yeah, Jude, I'm talking about you. You bring your Negropean ways to other countries. Like that, give an example.
Sisters twerking at the slave port?
No, I didn't see it. Go ahead, talk on it.
Did you see what just happened in Ghana? These sisters go at the place where there was a slave, and they disrespect all the ancestors. Twerking there like it's nothing. And you got black women here defending them.
They want to tell Mina Castle in Ghana?
Yep, and do that. And you got black women here defended them. That's what Bishop is talking about.
Right. Hey, what about the sister that went to Saudi Arabia? She effed around and found out. That's what I say. Hey, look, that's it. Put it on the screen. You nasty. Some of you sisters are disgusting. Totally disgusting and reprobate. And then when nobody stand up for you, we're the most unprotected women on earth. You deserve to be unprotected, you filthy scum of the earth. Damn. If the shoe fit, wear it. The hell is this? Ain't nobody got time for you. Now, when you repent, sister, then we gonna look out for you. But until then, you can't make this stuff up. Twerking for the end, disgusting. Embarrassing. This is why the nations look down on us. Hey, look at the black woman. Filthiest woman of all nations. She's the worst. That's right, sister. I said it. Damn. If you're not keeping the commandments, you are the worst. Facts. Then they always right. Go ahead, what do you say?
And if you notice how the black men leaving, go to other country find a wife, but nobody coming here to find a wife? Right. You never notice that? What does that tell you?
Go ahead, y'all can get mad. Send emails now, sister. Bishop said all black women is scum of the earth. I didn't say all black women is scum of the earth. I said if you ain't keeping the commandments, and you like what we just saw, you are the scum of the earth. Oh, Bishop Cosson. Oh, no, I'm telling you what God said. Give me that Ezekiel 28, you scum. Bishop, that's not in the Bible. Where's it at?
But all this was taught to them at the end of the day. The story is they were taught to do all this. And many don't have problem with being like this. In my culture, you cannot be saved. I'm just telling you now so you know. I'm gonna jump to Professor James Smalls because he's gonna say all this Islam, Christianity, and Judaism is a lie. That's why I said I'm gonna show you what's out there. Whether you believe it or not is up to you. Me, I'm maroon. I've got my own culture for before beginning of time. I have my culture from for before beginning of time. So all these things people coming to bring, my forefathers know them all. Really, real talk. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that and show you what's out there. Professor James Small saying all this Islam and Christianity and Judaism is a lie, which we already knew. It's black people stuff they took and placed it in another jacket. All this Christianity, Islam is just black people stuff with their sauce on it. Eminem making hip hop. UB40 playing reggae. That's what you're saying. Various video review, man.
There is something peculiar about what the Ethiopians and the Coptic did, because the notion of the oneness of God is an African notion. It was I need to read that so I can get the detail, but I'll give you an overview real quick. See, it was the Catholic Church and the formation of the Roman Empire that brought in this Jesus, the Son of God routine. Prior to that, for the first 325 years, all the people who lived during the period and knew a brother who was out here struggling for liberation of his people never saw him as a son of God in that context. When they said son or daughter of God, they were talking about all of us, any of us. And what they were talking about was not so much a biological manifestation, but as a spiritual character quality manifestation, behavioral manifestation. But it was the Catholic Church, which is really the Roman Church. You know, the word Catholic means universal, and church means community. And so this was the universal community that was forced to accept a certain belief, backed by the Roman army to enforce those beliefs on other people. Okay. But a group of Africans did break and said, no, we ain't down with that. Well, that group of Africans formed what we know today as the Coptic Church. See, because we can get confused. The Coptic Church of Egypt, which is now dominated by Eurasians, in the north at least, is closer to the original proposition that we had as a religious presentation than the Ethiopian church. Proud of this and very pleased, and this is what we need to do. Because if you worship the gods of your enemy, then you've become your enemy. And so, anytime you engage in worship, you engage in carrying forward the aspirations of your enemy's ancestors or your ancestors. So the thing.
Exactly. This is what I was telling these Surinamese Negroes from the city. Maroons don't want to be like the Caucasian, and these Negroes from the plantation will come to you and say, I am educated, I'm from the plantation, and I'm here to teach you that Maroons are stupid for running away, because they always say Maroons ran away. I don't know from where. I guess all the Maroons were in one place and they all decided one day they will run into the bushes. Yeah, right. Caucasian fantasy, and now even this day I have to defend my own self. Because the crazy children of the Caucasian they had created in Suriname plantation are coming still after black people like me, Maroons like me, to think they coming to educate you. When you have no culture, you have no God, nobody knows where you come from. I know where I come from. I have my God, I have my writings, I have my alphabet, I have everything. But still these crazies will wanna come and tell you we must become like the Caucasian. Yeah, like the one who raped you. The one who killed your children, you said? The one who murdered you for 500 years, 1,000 years? Maybe it's because they scared. That's why they do it. That's what I think at least. They are cowardly, man. Let's keep it at that. Various video review. Professor James Smalls. I don't agree with this or that. I have my own culture, like I say. I'm just showing you what's out there. Fair use video review, educational purpose. I won't speak too much on what he's saying. I'm just gonna let Professor James Small speak what he speaks and just leave it at that. I'm just showing those people in Belgium, Suriname, and the Netherlands about some things from books that they know that they don't know about. Because most of these so-called teachers and those things from North America or Africa, I'm showing you them because they have read books. They went into books to find something and bring it out. So I'm showing it out there. It's not for you to go and believe or not to believe. If you want to find out about these things you've seen, you will go out and find out for yourself how it is and how it lies. Oh, how I shouldn't say how it lies because this is already people lying to black people their whole life, and many black people wanna believe it. It's easier for them to be mad at black people than to be mad at the one who really did stuff to them. Even in Suriname today, they will tell you the cities people from the plantation. They will tell you Africans sold them into slavery. The Caucasian did nothing to them. If you didn't know, now you know. Fair use video review. Let's see it, man.
Depending on who you are, proud of this and very pleased, and this is what we need to do. Because if you worship the gods of your enemy, then you've become your enemy. And so, anytime you engage in worship, you engage in carrying forward the aspirations of your enemy's ancestors or your ancestors. So depending on who you worship, that's whose ancestors' aspirations you carry forward. And we know what our enemy's ancestors' aspirations were for us. So we have to be very clear. We're in big trouble, yet we're in relatively good time. But we're not up against an enemy that's standing still and you just chip away and eventually he'll disappear. You're up against an enemy that's very aggressively trying to destroy you. And if you have been studying and staying focused, you will know that the European community is at zero birth rate worldwide. Russia expects in the next 20 years to lose 33 million people. Germany has already calculated that in the last 20, they've lost 5 million people. What zero birth rate means is that we've got more people dying from natural causes than we having birth of natural causes. You understand? Yeah. And so they've created all these artificial ways of trying to give birth, but it's not keeping up. But what has resulted, not wanting to succumb to what Dr. Welsing spoke about, genetic annihilation, they're about the job of genociding us. At least keeping us at a management level, manageable level. And AIDS has been the primary and the most effective tools they've found. In North America, it is drugs and the penal system that is the most effective tool for managing our population growth. So you have to be conscious of who you are and where you are, and no matter how much illusion you can get involved in about, you ask black folks, say, you're an African American. No, I'm not, I'm mixed. But nobody ever celebrates the mixed days. They only celebrate the African stuff. So Africa is the only race on earth. There's only one race on this planet. It's the African race. What has occurred in time and space is those who have deviated through natural mutilation away from the primary biological stock have been socialized to oppose nature, thus opposing God. So you have a culture of people who's in opposition to nature. If you're in opposition to nature, you're in opposition to life. And if you're in opposition to nature and life, you're in opposition to God. Well, those parts of the human family that had to succumb to the two major ice ages, and we reference them now as Europeans or Asiatics for the most part, have built a culture that is in opposition to life itself, and certainly see themselves as competitors with the God itself, and they really think they have become God. And so the very things that have made them powerful now kill them from cancer and all kinds of incurable diseases that has resulted from the synthetics that they've created from the natural products in nature. And we too live in that ecology, the artificial ecology, so we are suffering from the same things. And because they've already also created an artificial spirituality, a spirituality that makes us think because we add African essence to the artificial spirituality, we confuse ourselves into thinking that we got something spiritual going on. So you go to a church and it be throwing down. Even I got a shout. because that quiet sounds so good. Yeah. That's that African essence loaned to someone else's misconception of spirituality, and that convinced our lowly educated consciousness that we are projecting something spiritual. No, what we're doing is projecting African essence around something that's really diabolical and not spiritual. And so I'm going to do a lot of reading today. And Baba told me I could take as much time as I need, but I'm not going to bury y'all too much, but it's going to be a few hours. But the information is going to be at least 2 hours, maybe 3. But there's a lot of information because we are in big trouble and we don't know why. Because if you challenge even persons in the struggle around the question of God and religion, they will still defend the integrity of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. If you challenge them on the essence of any of those 3 things, they don't know a damn thing about it. They know some basic scripture, they know some basic tenets, they know some basic prayers, and they know the protocol of the temple, which is shing, shouts, where you sit, and what kind of clothes you wear. They have no real idea. It's like some people tell you, oh, well, Christianity started in Africa. That's not true. They say, well, the Ethiopians have the oldest church. That's not true. You know? So we need to really not, we don't need to lie to ourselves about our history to have history. And the diabolical Jew will never embrace Nazis to try to proclaim some relationship to their technical achievement. So why do we embrace our Nazis? And we only do it out of fear and ignorance. And so I'm going to try to address some of that fear and some of that ignorance. Because it's important to understand, as my definition of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and I like to really open up with that, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are fragments from the periphery of the African spiritual and cultural system. Fragments from the periphery. They're not even a part of our core. Okay? Fragments from the periphery. And so as I go through tonight, even though it may get a little, it won't be my usual spontaneous kind of thing, because I'm going to be reading a lot of stuff, but I want to give you some information so that when you buy this tape, you could really try to look at some base stuff and then add your own research to it. And challenge anything I say. Don't believe nothing I've got to say. One of the worst things about us is that we've become believers instead of knowers. Okay? Take information from any source that appears to be informative and good, but then check that information out for its validity, me or anybody else. Otherwise, you're doing a disservice to your own consciousness, and you're not going to grow. My attempt is to give you information. I will make mistakes. As you move on with the information, you will get rid of mistakes and add new things to it. So we're going to move on in the evening. I'm waiting for Reverend Brown to really get himself set up like he wants to. But this becomes important because the true war that we have with our enemies is the war for spiritual consciousness. Okay? Everybody in this room will go through the process we call death. I don't care how pretty you are. I don't care how handsome you are. I don't care how intellectually educated you are. I don't care how technically trained you are. I don't care how much wisdom you've acquired. We are all going to die. So it's important then to know what is death. And if your only reference to the knowledge of death comes from your enemy, and he uses the fear of death to keep you in check, then you better question what his definition of death is. Because before we were here in this consciousness, before we were here in this manifestation, we existed according to our culture. That means we've been in existence longer than we've been in this expression. Matter of fact, no matter whose tradition you deal with theocratically or theologically, you cannot have a God and then have anything else. If you have a supreme being, it is the only thing that can exist. Nothing else can exist. If anything else exists, then you have more than one supreme being. So then, if you understand that, and that's right out of African tradition across the continent, that the only thing that exists is the Creator, then what the heck are you? You are but an aspect of its expression in time and space. Some of us like to say we are beings having a human experience. But if you were anything other than an aspect of the being, then you yourself would be a being equal to that being. So the only thing that exists in the African notion of spirituality is God. And there is no notion in any African cultural center of a devil. There actually is no notion of right and wrong. There's just the notion of either being ignorant to what is appropriate or being enlightened to what is appropriate. And if you're ignorant to what is appropriate, you will suffer a consequence because of that ignorance. So it's important to become enlightened. And that's what culture was about. Culture was not about entertainment. Culture was about education, about bringing outside of you what was appropriate for you to be in harmony with the rest of the nature that you were a part of. And that's what music was used for, and that's what dance was used for, and that's what drama was used for. Now it's used to artificially entertain and stimulate you so that you will not reflect on reality. If you turn it down just a little bit. So we probably won't even need it if you can hear me in the back. And as I go along, I usually go up. I start off with a soft bass, but it gets up there. So you understand where I'm going. Because either we are Africans or we're not. See, many of us, myself included, for a long period of time, and probably because of ignorance to a great degree, are playing African. We put on the symbols of Africa, but we don't want to take on the essence of Africa. To take on the essence of Africa, then you have to see yourself as God expressing itself in this time and space. And that means your responsibility is for the world. That means you have authority over the world. If you're not ready to take responsibility for the world, you can't have authority over the world. And if you don't take authority over the world, somebody in the world will have authority over you. And that's what our situation is. Somebody has decided to take authority over you. Tells you when they want you to die, tells you when they want you to live. Tell you what degree you can express your living and what degree you can't. It tells you whether you can love your mate. It tells you when you can't. It tells you how to handle your children and tells you how you shouldn't. And we try to comply because we want to hang on to what is called life, yet none of us can determine when we're going to die, and none can determine how much time we've got. Some people will live to be 100 plus. Some won't make it to 2. And you really don't know when that number is. I've had 3 clinical deaths, and I'm still kicking. I often wonder, who is this after all? You know? But nature wasn't ready for my recycling, and so it regurgitated me back up. For whatever process and use I have in nature and time. So I'm going to start with just some little things that I wrote down. Now, Dr. John Henry Clark said, history sometimes tells you where you have been in order to tell you where you are. So you can estimate where you still have to go. Dr. Clark said, in Who Betrayed the African World Revolution, remember, slavery is never abolished. Slavery is transformed. Now it's computerized. Only the slave can destroy slavery. You cannot destroy slavery by becoming part of your slave master's cultural incubator. Return to an African methodology of human and societal development. That was the message that ancestors left for us, and we need to really study that seriously. I wrote this and I call it testifying. It's just a couple of words. You are but cells in the body of God. Nothing in nature is your enemy. Only ignorance of your relationship, lacking knowledge today to build institutions. For example, we eat collard greens, right? And we said we eat collard greens because it gives us iron, it gives us this, and it gives us that, right? If you have to eat collard greens to replenish yourself, then you and collard greens are the same thing, aren't you? You eat other food to get protein, whatever, and if you can be replenished and reconstructed because your body is dying millions of cells every day and recreating new cells every day from what you ingested from the rest of the ecology, doesn't that tell you right there you are one with all that exists? And if you are one with all that exists, then the struggle should be for ma'at, harmony, balance in the universe. Every system in nature and the solar system is in your mind. Your role, your family, extended family, race or nation. Sparrows must follow the instructions of their ancestors. Instruct and inform by your ancestors. If you do not get instructed and informed by your ancestors, and you take instructions and information from somebody else's ancestors, you're going to be a mutant, like we are. We are psycho-spiritual mutants of white diabolicalism. Because a sparrow, if it took instruction from a robin's ancestor, that sparrow would be a mutant. It would be a cripple, wouldn't it? Even though they're both birds, aren't they? So in order for the sparrow to be the sparrow, it must take its primary instruction from the ancestors and the gene pool and the DNA and the RNA of sparrows. Not robins, even though they're both birds. We Africans must ask ourselves, who instructs and informs our consciousness on how to be a being in this world? And I know some of you said, well, Jesus, my Jesus. Sweet fantasy of white imagery in my consciousness saved my soul. The only reason we called on Jesus because it was death to call on anything else. Jesus didn't transform the Africans during slavery who heard about it. The Africans transformed Jesus. The degree to which Christianity in America have any credibility is the degree to which the Africans took that sick view of reality and gave it spiritual credibility. But if you don't study and see what we did with it, you will think the white man gave you something credible. And you won't see that you took something that was incredible and made it credible. That's right. You understand what I'm saying? Because this is important to understand. Because our children, even the best of us, in struggle, our children that we give birth to are being influenced, impacted, and directed by the socialization process of the rest of society, and we have to struggle just to keep our offspring focused on just basic survival, let alone really seeing what we've been trying to tell them. Because everything in the culture is designed to murder things African. So if you struggle to bring African into being in your consciousness, and you give birth to a child in this society, it doesn't possess what you possess, because all of the machinery from the time you went to a hospital and had them put you through the process to give birth in the wrong, unhealthy manner to start with, they went at war against your offspring. And when we send them to the schools, thinking we sending them to the best schools, so we're going to send them someplace where that's not in the ghetto, and realizing that we are defaming ourselves by calling our community a ghetto to start with. We live in communities. It may be under attack by our enemies, but we don't live in ghettos. Our enemies want us in ghettos, but what are we choosing for ourselves? How are we defining where we are for ourselves? And because he can convince us that we live in ghettos and our schools can't work, we don't even go to the schools to make them work. We send our children to our enemy, who we haven't even transformed, and say, now mold this for me, and he murders it and sends it back, and you go into crisis trying to figure out what happened. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Yes. Because that's what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with psycho-spiritual terrorism. And you got to understand that. It's very important that we understand psycho-spiritual terrorism, so that when we begin to look at economic terrorism, we can see why economic terrorism is so effective against us, because the psycho-spiritual terrorism have been so successful. We'll be talking, of course, about principles. And principles is a law of nature as formulated and accepted by the mind, an essential truth upon which other truth is based. The acceptance of moral law as a guide to behavior. A rule by which a person chooses to govern his or her conduct, often forming part of a code, the elements or rudiments of any art, science, or discipline. So we must think in terms of principles, concepts, and ideas. Principle, concepts, and ideas. Those are the three areas, categories that we're going to use in terms of engines to construct our personality and our character. I've written a definition for spirituality too that I like to use. But first, I want to reiterate, we must return to ancestral consciousness as a way of transforming consciousness. Only by advancing African consciousness will we achieve African liberation. Restore African and our ancestral cultural integrity. This will allow us to resist European ideas, socialization, and begin to reestablish our ways of balance, harmony, and justice on my. Let me try and explain so you really get it. We know past, present, and future as the three spheres of time. Africa know only one sphere, okay? The future doesn't exist. It never exists. It is aspiration. It is dreams. It is hope. It inspires and it motivates you to be, but it doesn't really exist. And you can't go to it and borrow anything to build anything with that's tangible. You can be stimulated and motivated by the aspirations for what is possible. The present is incomplete because it's coming into being. Doesn't exist yet. You're creating in the present. You're bringing into being. There's nothing there completed for you to use to build anything with. Only in the past. Only in the past can you find completed models, blueprints of concepts, ideas, and principles with which to construct your aspirations you call future in your present. And the very instant that you've completed a construction in the present and realize a future, it becomes the past again, to instruct and to inform. And that's why ancestors, which is the past, is essential to be your instructors and your informers. Whether they were enslaved, whether they were a prostitute on the corner, whether they were a junkie standing in a doorway, because that junkie and that prostitute was you that simply got damaged more than the you that's looking at them by the enemy's blows. But within the context of having to struggle against those blows, even they have wisdom that can keep you and your children from ending up in that doorway or on that street corner. So you've got to listen to your ancestors and be instructed and informed by their experiences. Spirituality, in the final analysis, is the resulting condition, habits, principles, concepts, ideas, rituals, practice from being instructed and informed by your ancestors. It is, of course, God the Creator, our creation itself, that are and is our primary ancestor. That our obligation on this experience is to be exactly like what we call God. That is the primary role model for how you want to behave. We know that culture, the training and development of the mind, the refinement of tastes and manners acquired by such training, and again, spirituality is systemic understanding of your relationship to the rest of nature and the universe, and process and methods used to stay in harmony with all that exists. Culture, again, the social and religious structures and intellectual and artistic manifestation, etc., that characterize a society, the rearing, the cultivating in a preparated way to prepare at least the minimum the next generation. To cultivate, to prepare, to raise, to improve, to refine, to cause to develop. And what do you want to cause to develop? The psychological being, the physiological being, the sociological being, and the spiritual being. And so we need to make sure that in doing this, we don't get carried away like some of us get out there on the spiritual skids and we out in outer space someplace and we have no connection to reality. You must stay focused on food, clothing, shelter, safety, and security. That the energy you're expanding because in order to breathe and live for the next few days or weeks, you must have food, clothing, shelter, safety, and security. Don't just get out and say, I'm on a spiritual trip, and we out there not being responsible to the most fundamental reality. In order to provide food, clothing, shelter, safety, and security, you must then be clear that you must control land, you must control political institutions, you must control educational institutions, you must control health care services in your community, you must control police and security in your community. You can't do any of this unless you're clear on three areas: economic, politics, and culture. You cannot separate them from spirituality. You cannot separate them from nation building. Economic, politics, and culture. Economic is control of your ecology and what it produces and what you can extract from it. In the continent of Africa, we have diamond, gold, oil, cobalt, tungsten, you name it. But in Philadelphia, what you have primarily in your ecology is your tax revenue and your youth. And if you have not developed the wisdom to have your tax revenue that has been extracted from you in the course of 12 months, and it comes back to your state and your city in terms of earmarked money, and if you do not have the wisdom and the knowledge and understanding how to get access to that capital so it serves you for your needs, then you don't know anything about economics. I don't care what you know about bookkeeping, accounting, or banking. Because those are just tools of economics. They're not economics. Then there's politics. And we made a grave mistake in the 60s. Many of us. We drove the white man from the city, and we did not fill the political vacuum. We left, we drove him out. Then we waited until he came back so we can have another fight with trying to drive him out again. Politics is the management system for your economics. Politics determine how you divvy up what is economic, what is extracted from the ecology as wealth. Politics makes the rules and regulations you must follow so no one violates the equitable distribution of the wealth. And then there's culture. At the center of culture is your spiritual system, and at the center of your spiritual system is your notion of God, and at the center of your notion of God should be what we don't have, a secret society that protects the integrity of the group. You can't be a Mason and be secret because the white boy controls that. You understand? So you have to spawn your own secret society, and it must come out of your notion of God, and that must come down as a long, slender black line from your ancestors so no one can penetrate that. You see? That is your army that protects the integrity of the group that no one can touch. You may hate the mafia, but Italians love them because that's their army. They protect their integrity. Culture instructs and informs your politics in whose interest the economics must serve. You understand? Economic, politics, and culture. For the purpose of providing food, clothing, shelter, safety, and security for you, your extended family, and your greater nation. Grasping the notion of spiritual consciousness. Returning to instructions and information from your ancestors. And the way you do that is through reading books, through traveling, through listening to the oral tradition, through listening to our music, through studying, through learning how to dance, through learning how to meditate and accessing what's already in your own consciousness. Those are the ways you commune with ancestors. To come together as you do in this temple and share your energy and share your different experiences and allow the experience of your different ancestors to manifest in the sphere with information that's useful to others. That's how you learn to commune with your ancestors. Don't get confused that you can burn a couple of candles, and if you burn a yellow one and a white one and a blue one, and you got the right incense, something gonna float down on the sky. Ogun gonna come down wearing some sword and stuff. Ogun is an aspect of your consciousness when realized. There ain't nothing out there. It is also in the greater ecology, yes, and in the greater cosmos, but you can't even realize it out there until you realize it in here. I'm going to deal near the end with traditional religion, but just to give you a sense of what we are talking about when we get there, because I'm initiated to the Yoruba tradition, and I'm initiated to the shrine of Oya. When we think of Shango, which you're familiar with, we think of the god of thunder and the god of lightning. Well, that's just a metaphorical anthropomorphic representation of what the power would look like if you could make it physical. But there was no person like that. Shango is the realization within each and every one of us that we've become aware of the courage necessary for spiritual growth and development. When you realize or accept the courage within you that's necessary for you to grow and develop, then you must have a relationship at least with two other forces that the ancestors have recommended. You must have a relationship with Oya. Oya, who becomes the wife of Shango, represents change in process. Once Shango, that aspect of your consciousness, realizes the need for change, then it must marry change, which is Oya, the wind. as a symbol, meaning wind blows away the negative and the profane and cleanse the ecology for the new to come into being. Oya is married to both Shango and Ogun. Ogun is transformation, the result of change. You understand? So ancestors weren't doing no boogeyman stuff. They had a system of education to instruct and inform their consciousness, and they created symbols and anthropomorphic imagery to train their youth and to keep in focus with one another so they could stay on course. We've allowed the enemies to write book and define our own spiritual culture to us. Well, we've got to go to them old folks. Y'all down here in Philly, y'all got a bunch of root people down here, but y'all scared of them, some of you. When we was down south, I grew up on a plantation, a place called Georgetown County, South Carolina. I'm talking backwoods, you don't get no more backwoods than Georgetown County. A little place called Acadia Plantation, down in between Myrtle Beach and Conway. And Mama was a root lady. Every single village had a root man or a root lady or both. And everybody understood the limitations of Western medicine, okay? Even white folks came to black folks, and they had a thing to tell Mama, well, Miss Pigeon, that's what they call Mama, my name is Miss Pigeon. Her name was Mary Magdalena, but since the Christians said Mary Magdalena was a whore, she changed her name from Mary Magdalena to Susan and took her dead sister's name, who had drowned, and the community knew her as Miss Pigeon, you know, the bird lady, because she was the juju lady, you know. And so they would tell Mama it's a snake bite. The snake bite means Western medicine can't do nothing for this here. The snake referenced voodoo, because the great symbol of voodoo is the snake, the python, which was a symbol of the universe itself, as the snake bites its tail and creates eternity. So, a snake bite, that only African stuff can cure this. And all over Philly, you got root people. And we know when things get real bad, we all sneak in by night. But what we need to do is start going to the root people's house by day. We need to legitimize and give credibility and then put demands on them who are not doing it the way it should be done, that they need to begin to do it the way it should be done. Because as perversion comes up in any society and a culture is forced to pervert itself to survive, it will become a perverted expression of itself. And many of our people are violating out of ignorance and some out of greed the system of medicine and science and spirituality that our ancestors passed on. But for those of us who say we're in the vanguard of this development, we have to take the responsibility then to accept our system as real and legitimate, and to make it legitimate, at least among us. But even those of us who are in the struggle, you are the exception having this temple. Many of us who are in the struggle are afraid to identify with African spiritual systems such as voodoo, such as hoodoo, such as Yoruba, such as Ewe, such as Akan. We would rather masquerade as a Muslim to say in being a Muslim we're being anti-American or anti-Europe because that's acceptable to the enemy. But we rarely go past that except for few of us. And if you don't go past that, you're still in the cemetery. You still would have the hangman's noose around your neck.
So you've seen this. This is not Doctor, Professor James Smalls. Let me put the name back because I was gonna skip this part. I thought, no, let me put this teacher. It's all these things I'm showing is not for you to believe or not to believe. I'm just showing you what's out there, just like I've stated many times. But he's telling, all these people are telling you the truth, just like the professor and Cellini, or what? I just saw him. That's why I've seen so many professors. So I didn't know so many black teachers are out there. Dr. Pedro Cellini. You see, because it's South African. Because some parts of dialects, some might say Mzileni. Because if it was my tribe, we would say Mzileni. But in South Africa, they will say Mzileni. You see, they speak like a tribe in Suriname. Yeah, they speak like family. I have some called family in those tribes also. There's a guy called Kusi, just like the Kushites. The name Kusi is in my tribe in Suriname. The 12th tribe is in my tribe in Suriname, man. All these things you see in the Bible, I'll be making videos of on YouTube and internet, Facebook, all those things. Man, to many people out there is common knowledge, but I understand that for many they miss their basics. So let me show a small part of this still, or let me skip to another part I was gonna show also, because this one you can watch it later on this channel, Black Tekken TV. Doctor, this was of 7 years ago, so it's not a new video. I was just showing you that there are many not really denominations, because he's teaching really that, and all these things they teaching black people it's not just Eminem and hip hop. I always use that example because it's the easiest example for me to use, because I was there in the Netherlands. One of the first people there was only a crew called Osdorp Posse. They was a white group and from Osdorp, but they used to rap as the first group I know. There were many other groups, but they were not known. And the other group was Klokkenluiders. Those guys, and yeah, Def Rhymes. And after Def Rhymes, you had guys like me. I used to do what's that called, as the first artist, man, opening show. I used to do opening show for the known artists in the Netherlands in those days. I would come together with a guy from Cape Verdia or from Angola, and then we would perform in those days. Everybody hated hip hop back then, man, and not hated hip hop, they couldn't do it. They were not able to rap in those days. In those days, when I used to walk on the street, and a Caucasian would ask me, "Yo, can you rap a bit? Let me see." Yeah, the rest is history, man. Various video. But in my culture, it was called toasting back then. It was called toasting because toasting in Jamaica, that's what a rapper was in the end of the 70s. Yes, starting the 80s. It was called toasting, and the rapper was called Toaster. Yes. That's why when they say hip hop, not hip hop, rapping comes from Jamaica and all those stuff, it's because they had toasting on Jamaica. Google that, toasting or toaster. If you Google toasting, sound system Jamaica, you will see many of those stories. They talk about sound system was in the park. It's in Jamaica, they do that a lot. In the Netherlands, they call that street parties. In America also, I think. But anyways, man, let's see this small part also, that Egyptian cigarettes in Vatican, man. Let's see it, various video review. So you can see the influence and these teachers were talking about. How this influence came about. They would study black people stuff, change it up, and then give it back to them. Because it's easier for them to accept in that way. Various video review, let's see it, man.
Rome, a city where modern lives alongside the ancient. A place that contains secrets from the ancient world. Where modern religion overlaps with the ancient. A symbol of power, 13 to be precise, ancient Egyptian obelisks relocated to Rome. Yet one holy site contains Egyptian mysteries. Beautiful art from times long forgotten. Corridors of gods and royals.
See? They now painting all this stuff white. Did you see this white image in Egypt? Of course not. So they took all those stuff from those black people and they painting them just like in the Renaissance. Just like in the Renaissance, man. It's the same thing, whitewashing really.
Sacred writings inscribed long Rome had its.
You see? Now it's like, yeah, man. And they will tell you that all this is evil. That's why I say my culture is more animism and pantheistic, not religious based, because I don't know what they mean with religion. I don't know what they mean with God. God to me, even you see, I showed you this stuff, man. Where is it? This is Okanisi. But this thing is also important to see. This part, free Negroes, here at the almost at the bottom. Feeding is free time. Chapter 10. Feeding. That's how it's written. Feeding. The times that people were free. And achter is behind. That's why this comes from the backbush Negroes. Achter Aukas, free Negroes. Achter means normal these days is written with a CH. And this G this G is also you can replace it with a K. But anyways, and this Awuka, that's my tribe. Okanisi Njuka. That's one of the way they used to write it. Or Awaka. Or Aukaner. Or Okanisi. Or an Isri Kango. This Ka is also Kan is Kango also. That's why I can say, yes, I'm Congo. That's all it means. Okang is like Sama Okang, Sumani Okang. That is Saramakang. That's another tribe. But they are also Okang. Just like Jami Okang. That like Jamaican is Jami Okang. Dia is this Dia Casa. You all thought I was joking. I'm not joking, man. My culture is real as it comes. I know there is no culture on this planet older than mine. It's not what I think, it's what I know. Let me show you this before I show you the other ones. See this? Thor is being brought like why can't I see it? Wait a minute. Why don't I see it, man? Whoa. Because they are making Thor into a creator. Let me... I don't wanna take none off, so I'm gonna create another image quick and drop it there, man. Thor, boom. You see, Thor has been turned into the creator. Boom. You see? This is supposedly the Christ, if you didn't know. In my culture, this is Shango. This is Jibril, if you didn't know. This is when I say Jibril, his rank is Jibril. His rank, just like I was showing you the Fodu, Papagadu, his rank, I know his rank because of the clothing he's using. See, that's my culture. The color you will use will let me know what kind of panty, where your rank is. That will give away your rank. That's why when you go to my people, they all have their own color. So you will know, oh, that guy is from the water. Oh, that guy is from the air. Oh, that guy, just like Ang in the Avatar of the cartoon. Ang is the same in Tualufulot, the 12th tribe. And you will say, how come? You won't understand that right now. But Ang is really Jesus. Just like this guy is supposedly to be Jesus, this guy. He is Kalel. Thor is Kalel, Jesus, Kirikou in Africa, and many more. I won't name all of them. And the Buddha, all those guys. Mohammed, Mahoma. In my culture, they would say Mahoma. I won't explain what Mahoma means, man. But if you go to Haiti, there is another tribe there called Mawo. Yeah, Mawo, Keng. Let's leave it at that for now. But anyway, so you see, they are turning Thor into creator. Just saying. I was trying to find this thing, blah, blah, let's see it. Is it this? Let's see which one this one is. Oh, this is the one I've shown you already. You see, but you can see it here, just like I was showing you Thor. You can see here, that's why I know his rank. Because of these things. Because not things, I shouldn't say things. These gods. It's better said. Yes, because in my culture, if you wanna name one of these names, you have to say Tata and then say the name. That's to give the respect that you don't mean any harm or you're not being bolsterous. If you go and just mention the name, blah, blah, it's all, yeah, just leave it at that. But you see, that's why I was telling those who have seen my videos before, like, Fodu is not a religion. Fodu is the rank. Fodu is called, in my culture, Papagadu. Lord. Papa means Lord. Like the Pope. The Pope is a Fodu Gadu. That's why you see his staff, you see it with the snake, like Moses' snake. The Pope is supposedly Peter or the Victor, the replacement of Christ, while he's not here. And that's why he's got the staff with the papagado on it. You see, Fodu, papagado, or Jakasa. If you've seen my movies, the cartoon I was making, you would have seen this name on my boat. And sometimes on my flyer, I would place Jukasa of Jakasa. That's why I'm saying that. My name is Njukang. You see? And if you look beneath here, you will see an Dikan clan. It's like we are with 6 tribes, but we are called but our God system is called the 12th tribe. The 12th tribe is our God system. So the chart of the is so-called Israelites over there, and these things like North American are Judite is not true. It's not true. On Jamaica there is Judite, there's Suriname, everywhere there is Jew. That's why you see this name. Jew, I'm saying that because the Jew tribe is one of the tribe that is in Suriname with the Maroons. Yes, the Judah tribe is a tribe of my people in Suriname. Just like you see Jukasa, you will see Ju Sama. That's why you got a Ju Makondre. Yeah? Yeah, let's leave it at that. But you can see here that even Tatafo, not even, but Tatafodu has like somewhere where he answers to. That's why I'm always saying it's a rank. It's a rank. Jibril is a rank. It's like when you say I'm praying to Jibril, it's like when I'm listening, I'm hearing you saying I'm praying to lieutenant, I'm praying to president. That's what you're saying. If you say I'm praying to Jesus, you're saying I'm praying to Jesus, to president, because that's the rank, the title. That's what I'm saying. All this name like Mikael is a title of an army. That's why you see here, it's written also, de slangengoden waren de soldaten die Agediosu leger. Leger is army. It's just like the word neger, the negro, nigger, is in Dutch neger. If you didn't know, I'm saying all these things because there is people out there who will say, why are you using the word nigger? Neger is a word of my people. I can't help you, man. Many things people think is theirs is not real. The people in Gulagichi are Maroons. Because one of these guys' name is Kwame. Kwame is Benin Peninsula is Kwame is Jamaica. Jamaica, Suriname, Guyana, Barbados, anywhere in America where they speak English, you will meet people with the Kwasi, Kwame, Kwabena, and Kwamina, and those names. Quadwo, and all those names. Yeah, those other tribes, many of them came there with the Portuguese. Like the Saramakan, Sumanikang. Sumani is like Shem. Shem, people of Shem. Is Sumanikang is another tribe, the Saramakaners. Many of them are from Dahume. Yes, Dahume from your Bible. The tribe is in Suriname. Dahume, that is in, they are from Benin, many of them, and Guinea-Bissau. And even people from this place in Senegal. Many of the Senegal and Ivory Coast, they are in the French area. Many of them are in Haiti. Many people in Haiti are away from Benin. Yes. That's why when they say, yeah, they are doing photo to me, when saying nothing. It's like saying he's doing Pope. He's doing priest. That's what you're saying. When you say, he's doing photo, man, that's what like you're saying to me. He's doing priest. He's doing police. Because in my culture, these are police officers. Yes. In my culture, angels and those spirits, they are doctors. They are fixers. That's why you have the Ankara. The Ankara is holy mana, the keeper. Let's leave it at that. I won't, but I'm showing you this so you can understand that all these so-called names are ranks. They are ranks. That's what you need to understand. Like you say lieutenant or sergeant or president or minister. That's these names you're seeing. That's the same way in your Bible. That's why I'm able to use the Bible to convey what I'm saying because it's the same similar story. If you go to the Akang or the Kiku, if you can go to any African tribe. And when I say African, I mean people with afro on their head. People from Australia with afro in their head are Afro Kang. Kang is similar to Mang. is replaceable with mang. Amen is akang. It's the same thing. Akang means a holy, it is so. Atangso. In Surinamese, Negroes would say atangso. It's tang is like tanning in the sun. He's tanning, man. He's making himself black. He's tanning. That's why you have say tan, say black, say so. All these names they've given you are misnomers. It's not real. That's why I showed the part about Bishop Nathanyel, but I also showed you the part about Professor James Smalls, where he says all this. Professor James Smalls was a guardian for Malcolm X, I think. Yeah, he was a guardian for Malcolm X or one of those guys. But anyways, man, so all these things like Shango is a rank. Do you understand? Shango is a rank. If you tell me, yo, I pray to Shango, you telling me nothing. It's like you telling me I pray to soldier or I pray to president. That's what you're saying. Because when you say I pray to Shango, I'm supposed to ask you, what Shango? Which pantheon? You see? Then you have to say, my Shango is Shango like Jesus from Nazareth. You see? That's why they say that. Jesus from Nazareth. Jesus from Galilee. Jesus from Egypt. Jesus from... You see? Because it's a rank. You're supposed to tell the people where, from which place. It's like, yo, the president, from where? The president of Suriname, the president of Brazil, the president of America, which one? That's the same thing to me when you say Jesus. I'm supposed to say Jesus, which Jesus? Which Jesus? And you're supposed to then answer Jesus from Akang or Jesus from Nazareth, Jesus from Kalali or King of King Jesus. Then and when they will say King of King, they will say Papa Gadu. And this Papa Gadu is the God of Moses, which he had on the pole, the God who ate up all these other gods. Because the gods of the Egyptian are also gods. That's all this contesting. Yeah, the Egyptian and the Hebrew is foolishness. It's foolishness. If you live righteous, you will get there. If you live crooked, you will be finished. By these gods will finish you. I'm just saying. And you Agide, that's why you see Agidi, Agadi, like it's a tribe. Agadi is the tribe of God. My one of my lineage is God. Like these Israelites saying the tribe of God, God. With my people, God is a black tribe because it's me. I am God, one part of me, and God is from Akang. The Akang side in my family is Gadi, Agadi. That's why you see here Agidi, Agadiosu is the house of God. The house of God, it means literally. That's this Osu is Yesu. Understand? Like Dia Casa, Casa is Osu. If you go to not only Benin, because there is Akan living in Benin also. But if you go to Ivory Coast or Ghana, you will see this kind of the same style. And Awusu and those named Yao, you will meet name like Yao, Yesu in Ghana, in Benin. Yes, if you didn't know, Osu means house in my culture, in my language, like house. Osu. Jesu, Dia Osu, the mention. That's why I use the Bible, because to me, when these Israelites so-called saying, and you will inherit the mention, or the mention is Jesus, Dia Osu, he is the house of the Father, the King of all, the Lord of all the other angels, so to speak. It's like a Shweli Gadu, the covenant, the contract, because he is the so-called spoken word, and every word needs to go back to that one word. So all words mean the same thing at the end. Do you understand that? If there in the beginning there was only one word and that word was with God and all those stuff, that means that every word on the planet comes from that one word. It doesn't matter who's saying it. It comes from that one word and it needs to return back to that one word at the end. That is etymology. Completing the circle. And that is qua or pa or ba or bo or pa. That's why you have names like Sakpata. That's why you have Akpato. Akpato is Akpata is like Egypt. The Egypt is Akpato. Akpata it means holy Allah. The Akpata, Akpato, Egypt means something. Oh, you see, that's why they say it means bondage, because Holy Allah means bondage. I'm not speaking carnally bodily stuff. I seldom speak in bodily stuff. I speak in dimensional. Dimensional, this bondage is real, because there is one bondage, and Holy Allah means bondage, to keep all, to keeper, the overlord, like the world. The world is a bantifu. In my culture, they would say bantifu. Bantifu means Holy Allah. Holy is to keep, to restrict, just like religion. But that's I purposely don't use the word religion, because they have given religion another meaning. But because religion, the basic of religion is also law, restrictions. And law will give you restriction and space where you are able and allowed to move in. You see, but in my culture, we have some basic restriction, and then every family member have their own restrictions, because it works with bloodline in my culture. If your mother is not of my culture, you cannot come in my culture. All these names you're seeing here, you cannot use them if you are not my bloodline. That's why I can show them, and you can't do anything about it. If you go out there and you call upon one of my gods, my family gods, you will, yeah. That's why I'm saying you can't go out there and saying, I'm calling upon Michael, I'm calling upon the Saint Nicholas, is foolishness. Because when you say Nakele, it's all those things are ranks. That's what I'm trying to say. Are ranks. It's like an army. You see, it's like saying human, human, or an yeah, just like that, like a worker and a manager and an inspector and the president. Just that's the way it's built up in my culture. The angels, the gods, the winties, the spirits are built up in ranks. And I don't mean this one is supposed to more important than that. No, it's not that what I mean. I mean their functions. I don't know why it's like that. It's how the Most High has done it. So I don't even want to speak on that, man. In my culture, we don't speak on the things that the Most High placed like that. You just leave it alone. If it functions, it's enough. If you try to go and know why it functions like that, you will go crazy. Yes, the forces will make you go crazy. That's why the Most High in the Bible, he separated everybody with their own language, so they will be confused if they try to do evil. That's why he did it. Yeah. So you've seen this part also. I spoke, or I'm speaking on this because I've told you in many videos before. And yeah, the voodoo is not a religion. It's not a religion. It's a rank of an angel, of a god, of a deity. I don't want to use deity and God and those things, man, because it comes into Caucasian realm and they can change those definitions anytime. In my culture, you can't change it. You see? So when people come in saying Haitian voodoo and all is foolishness, it's a rank. If I see voodoo, I just know, oh, these people are within the bloodline of my people, if they speaking about voodoo. So I know Haitians are part of my lineage somewhere, because they talk about voodoo. If you go to Benin, they will tell you about voodoo, Awija, Awidia Kasa, Adiyuka. That's why the house of Ja. I'm gonna leave it at that. And Ja, let's leave it. Let me not explain. So sometimes I wanna explain more. And you see where the number 1 is written here down. Og the Aluku. Also the Aluku. Aluku is a tribe, the Boni tribe. When you hear Boni War, it's the Aluku. They were part of the Njuka tribe and they separated and went away. And they did not want to sign no treaty with the Caucasian, and they were still attacking the Caucasians. And the Caucasian came and paid my people to stop the Boni tribe. Like, yo, we have a treaty with you now, and that's the part in which city Negroes will want to use and say, listen, y'all signed a treaty with the Caucasian that if somebody would escape from the plantation into the jungle, that they were supposed to be brought back. But that's because you were the enemy in those days. Negroes from the plantation used to work with the Caucasian to come in the jungle and attack Maroons. And the treaty they speak about is from 1760. 1760, it was a Jamaican who they brought from Jamaica on Aquamu to speak to the Okanisi and the Sumanikang people, the Saramakan people. Because then they in those days, it was commonly to speak and Kromanti. Kromanti is Swahili. It's a kind of Swahili. That's Kromanti. You know, so I'm gonna leave this. So this is one of the gods of my people. You see, Arane and Yuka. Ka is also Khan. Khan is, let me not explain what Khan is. You know, this is just to show you when I say I got my own culture, it's not a joke. It's real. Maybe I'll start the movie from here and to the front. It's been almost 3 hours since I've been making this video. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Maybe next time I'll show you other parts of this culture, because it's my culture, but it used to be the culture of many black people, but they lost it. This is the culture when they say black people lost their culture. It's this culture, it's my culture, these writings and this stuff. And I'm saying this, but it's not for city Negroes, because city Negroes like to, oh, so when you ran away from the plantation, you took these writings with you. No, stop it. That's a fantasy story of the Caucasian. They're also telling a story that the Indians, all the Native Americans were killed. That's why they went and take the Africans to Suriname and the Americas and all those stuff. And after that, they will tell you the same Native Americans helped the Africans to escape. While they were killed, the reason why Africans were brought there, you said, was because the Native Americans were killed. 77 million of them were wiped out. How could they be alive to help the black people escape from plantations if they were killed? Which part of this story is real? Or they were killed or not? Because only if they were not killed, they could have helped Africans to escape from plantations. But if they were wiped out, how could they have been babies again, reincarnate and become babies and grow up to go and free any slaves? Just saying. Keep your fantasies to yourself in that regard. I don't want to hear those. I've done an exams in history. I have history degree, so I know what I'm speaking on, man. That's lots of those history is foolishness. That's why you was not allowed to read anymore, because black people used to read. They have their own writings. Just like you see mine here is mine, but it's all really of black people in the Western Hemisphere, the only writings, so they say. But the Ewe, the Evre, they have this system. The Adentra, all tribes, all black tribes mostly have these writings, their own alphabet, because the gods will come and give it. The gods, our God, black people God, if you live accordingly and keep the law, just like the Israelites saying, keep the law is real. If you're eating your woman between the legs, the Most High you won't be able to communicate with Most High. You're no longer spiritual. And when I speak, I don't speak on women and children. Understand that. All these things I'm saying, you don't think about women and children. This is for men. All these things, this rank and this law is for men. Women law is and children law is separate. In my culture, for my God, is separate, because a woman is a woman and a child is a child. Let's leave it at that. But when you say you are men and you break the rules, you will be punished. So all this punishment, but if a woman is wicked, she will be punished. You're no longer a woman. If a woman is trying to kill someone, she is first a murderer before she is a woman, and that legitimizes it for her to be put down into her grave. Not physically by anyone. The Most High will do it. In my culture, you're not allowed to kill people. The Most High will do it. If somebody does anything to me, I will just them, curse them, or send something to eliminate them while I'm laying down in my bed. I will be sleeping in my bed, and you will feel it wherever you are, man. Even if you're on the North Pole. Yes. That's why I'm showing you all these things. Like, what I'm saying is not like, yeah, man, and the ancestors don't work without God. I'm telling you, I know so. I know that. Next time you go, so God don't exist. I'm praying to the ancestors. There is no ancestors without God. I know that. Every African you go, or Maroon, who is real Maroon or African, will tell you the same thing. You cannot go and manifest a spirit. Yeah, I'm a manifest. You can't. Only a spirit can manifest itself upon you, if the Most High let it. Yes, the Most High must let it be. There can't be anything without the Most High permission. Even in my culture, it's like that. That's why you're supposed to pray to the Most High if something is happening, if you need help. If you think you don't need help, the Most High will let you fix it on your own. After you've learned for a while, you will return back and say, yeah, I have to return back to God, man. Otherwise, I might not make it. And most people who say there is no God is because a family member of them died. Their grandma, their grandfather, or somebody they used to love, and they start hating upon God. I know that because it's a common thing. But after a while, you will go back to the same, like, maybe I didn't understand, and you will never understand. It's not to you to understand. You're just supposed to keep the law and live your life as a child would, regarding their parents. And when I say their parents, I don't mean bodily, carnally parents, because you have parents out here who will sell their child. You have parents out here who will betray their child or sacrifice their children to get money. I know that because Maroons also do these things. Black people in Suriname do these things. Indian people in Suriname do these things. Japanese people in Suriname do these things. I will not say Chinese and Native Americans because I haven't seen them doing it. But they also may be doing it. Probably they doing it. So all this so-called Illuminati thing is done by every tribe and every nation in the world. That's why you got Druids. Let me show you the Druids immediately, man. So we know when I speak out here, it's not fiction. I'm just showing you what's out there. I'm not teaching anybody anything. You can't teach anybody anything. You can only show them what's out there. Let's leave it at that for now. And Druids. Yeah, Druids, man. Let's see it. You see, already seeing these magicians. These are Druids. If you didn't know, now you know. Let's see it. Blam. These are Druids. You see it? These are Druids. These are the magicians. When I say the god of the Europeans is Druids, and Beowulf and Thor and those things is this. And this thing I was showing you about my people, about Tatage Josu, they regard it like something, the same kind of stuff they are doing. See this? That's why when they come to black people, they think black people are doing the same thing. That's witchcraft. This is discraft. How can you know what I'm doing? You don't speak my language. I speak your language. So I know what Caucasian doing, but they don't know what I'm doing. Because I speak English. I speak Dutch. I speak Surinamese. I speak Saramakan. I speak Okang. I understand German. Yes. A bit French. Yes. Just saying. But y'all don't speak my language, nigga. That gives me an advantage. Just saying. I have the advantage in this game. Because I know your things, but you don't know mine. You see, this is Druids. This is their god. This is the Lord of the Rings. All those stories comes from Druids. These Druids are the same Ku Klux Klan in America. Yes. You see? These are their gods, man. You see here, like let me take an image from here, man. Let me take an image from here and show you Druids. Blah. These are Druids. Druids are the magicians of the Caucasians. Before they knew anything about the Christ. That's why when I say the Christ comes from the Christ is from East Africa, Northeast Africa, man. These people you see is like the people living in America, the Caucasian people, they are not from there. Are they the owner of the land? No. They came there. The owner of the land is the so-called Indians, but nobody knows that any longer, man. They have given up the fight. You see here? Assassin's Creed. Here, Druids. Assassin's Creed. Druids. Van Halen and Vandals. These are the Vandals when you hear Vandalen, Destroyers, Crusaders. Who were the Druids? Historic UK. You see, that's why they think black magic, it comes from them because zoals de waard is behandeld is een gasten. What is that in the way you are is the way you look upon, you project yourself on other people. You see this? Under the spell of the Druids. That's what I'm saying. This is what they know. This is their Christ. That's why they will draw Moses. Like, it's not like, yeah, they don't know. This is like Moses in the Bible. It's their own God. They just replacing the African stories with their God. You see? That's what Agwan. You see this kind of people? You see? That's what Agwan. See, Druid dry, modern. See, they trying to go back to their own religion. You see, this is Stonehenge. These are the Ku Klux Klan in America saying they were Christ. Yes, you see. See, this is Sinterklaas, and the goat is the black man, blackface, Zwarte Piet. I was showing you. You see, these characters look like the so-called Moses characters in your Bible, right? Because these are druids. There is where they got these things from. It's their own old deities. Many black people don't know. And they will come and tell black people, you're not supposed to do this. And they will take a bunny rabbit feet and place it in their bag to get good luck. Yes, if you didn't know, now you know. Caucasians will take the feet of a bunny rabbit, place it in their bag so they can get good luck. That's why they will approach my people with things like, that's superstition, because they think we are doing the same thing. We are doing the same thing, but why don't we get the same results? That's the same thing like I hear Negroes saying, I was praying to God, but nothing happened. Why do you think the Most High would want to deal with you? Maybe you are evil. Maybe maybe you're delusional thinking the Most High have your time when everybody is calling upon some kind of way. The Maker help me, Creator help me, Most High help me, and he would answer you. I got my own God, my culture. That's what I mean. If you knew your father's history, and I mean your spiritual father, like my grandfather's God. When I say my father, I mean the God of my grandfathers and my grandmother. Really, in my culture, I'm supposed to say the God of my grandmother, because my people work material and with the mother line. That's the way they work. The father line is there to protect you, to fight fights. The spirits of my so-called father tribe is to fight war. If anybody is trying to attack me spiritually, they will fight that fight at first. The mother line is to cultivate. Let's leave it at that. So you see, this is their magician. That's why they will go to Africa and say the Africans are busy doing evil things, because that's what they used to in their own culture. Zoals de waard is behandeld is een gast. There is an English saying about that, man. Let's leave it alone, man. I will come to it another time. But anyways, you've seen it. I've shown you, like always, this is my writings. Just saying, when they say black people have no writings, you can tell them it's a lie. You can even go to the Ewe or the Adentra and use that and say, listen, here is black people writing, man. What you say about this? Just saying, not that you have to prove anybody anything. You don't have to prove anything to anybody, man. That's why I'm telling you, I'm just showing you this so you know what's out there when people coming out and thinking, yeah, all the tribes are lost. I don't know that the tribes are lost, because the tribes of my people are Agadi and God and the Jusama is all in Suriname. Tualufulo, the 12th tribe, is real to my people. Not from the Bible, so-called, because the Bible stories, they look like the stories of my people. My people's stories were here before time was time. I mean the God of my people then. My God was there when the Most High was creating the planet and everything. Yes, I know that. It's not what I think. Just saying. Various video review, I'ma leave it at that. Maybe tomorrow I'ma do another one. And yeah, man. So you've seen it. Some say it's all a lie. Some will say they are using it to destroy black people and all those things. Make your own decision. I'm not saying who's right or wrong. You and your maker, your creator. You've seen the movie is already coming with Thor. Yeah. I told y'all. Yeah, man. Let's just leave it alone, man. So later, man.